Chapter 184 Return, please subscribe. _2 However, in order to continue enjoying the vast heavenly earth vital energy brought by the inhalation and exhalation of the Eye of the North Sea, Lin Yuan had forcibly dragged on until now. It seemed that the world consciousness of this realm had noticed, but it had no way to intervene. The world consciousness still relied on Lin Yuan to deal with the Eye of the North Sea, so it was impossible to fall out with him at this time. Only now, Lin Yuan had already reached the 12th segment of the 5th rank, and his subsequent cultivation had little to do with the external primordial qi. Moreover, with only a little more than 10 years remaining until his stay limit, there was no need to continue lingering here. Suppress. With this thought, Lin Yuan looked down at the 100-meter radius of the Eye of the North Sea below. Boom, boom, boom. Under the terrifying suppression, once again it cascaded downward. The 100-meter wide Eye of the North Sea immediately began to shrink again. 90 meters, 80 meters, 70 meters. Oh! Just as the Eye of the North Sea had shrunk to 10 meters, a terrifying consciousness pierced through the Eye of the North Sea, reaching Lin Yuan's ear. Cease your actions. This terrifying consciousness emitted psychic fluctuations that allowed Lin Yuan to intuitively understand the meaning it conveyed. Cease your actions? Lin Yuan let out a slight smile, unconcerned. Over the years, he had long surmised that behind the Eye of the North Sea stood a powerful being. Because when he observed the Eye of the North Sea carefully, with his against heaven's understanding, he would occasionally enlighten himself to some devouring secret techniques. Of course, these devouring secret techniques were not comparable to the devouring heaven evolution path, but it was obvious that they belonged to the unique skills of some powerful existences. Lin Yuan originally thought that the existence behind the Eye of the North Sea would remain silent until it was completely suppressed. Only he did not expect that the other party would ultimately lose patience. As long as you cease your actions, everything is negotiable. The terrifying consciousness sounded somewhat urgent. We can make a deal. The terrifying consciousness continued to emit psychic fluctuations. I'm not interested in deals. Lin Yuan did not cease his suppression, and the Eye of the North Sea continued to shrink. To be precise, Lin Yuan had little interest in making deals where there was too great a disparity between the parties. The existence behind the Eye of the North Sea was at least a powerhouse beyond the 6th rank, and making deals with such a being was akin to negotiating with a tiger for its skin. Who knew when he might fall into the other party's hands? Lin Yuan was willing to make deals with the world consciousness because the world consciousness was not a sentient being, without emotions like joy, anger, sorrow, or personal feelings. Moreover, Lin Yuan had means to contend with the world consciousness if necessary. In the worst-case scenario, he could just destroy this world, and nobody would benefit. But the existence behind the Eye of the North Sea, Lin Yuan didn't think he had any means to restrain it. Instead of worrying about fear, it was better to avoid contact altogether. Boom, boom, boom. The Eye of the North Sea continued to shrink. 5 meters, 3 meters, 1 meter. At last, the terrifying consciousness that originated from the depths of the Eye of the North Sea began to curse. An invisible psychic attack swiftly penetrated Lin Yuan's primordial spirit. Unfortunately, Lin Yuan's Yin spirit and Yang spirit had united as one, forming the Taiji primordial spirit, immensely stable, augmented by the psychic defense secret technique, Mind Palace Tower. Faced with a psychic attack that originated from the depths of the Eye of the North Sea, its power unknowably weakened by many times, he naturally had nothing to fear. Ultimately, several days later, the Eye of the North Sea shrank to a speck finer than a strand of hair. With a slight motion of Lin Yuan's mind, the speck fell into his hand. With such a size, the Eye of the North Sea no longer posed any threat. It couldn't even perform the inhalation and exhalation of heavenly earth vital energy anymore. Whoosh! Lin Yuan's figure vanished. He appeared above North Sea Island. By this time, Master Nalan, along with the 5 deputy island masters and many 10th realm individuals, had long been waiting in their place. When the Eye of the North Sea continued to shrink down to 10 meters, Master Nalan and the others realized that the greatest threat looming over countless powerhouses in this world might become a thing of the past. Therefore, they had led everyone to wait here early on. After all, once the Eye of the North Sea was fully dealt with, the mysterious powerful individual would naturally appear. You have lived here for thousands, tens of thousands of years. Lin Yuan looked towards Master Nalan and the other powerhouses. The thousands, tens of thousands of years here referred not to a single generation but to generations upon generations. Since hundreds of thousands of years ago, when the Eye of the North Sea first appeared, under the implications of the world consciousness, one powerful being after another arrived here. After hundreds of thousands of years of proliferation, even Master Nalan was a descendant of some of the early generations of powerhouses. However, everyone will need to continue staying for another 500 years before you can go to the 5 domains, Lin Yuan said indifferently, surveying his surroundings. Currently, the demonic Tao forces that Lin Yuan had left on the 5 domains mainland were enough to suppress everything. But if the powerhouses from North Sea Island were to swarm into the 5 domains, it would be a different story. Dozens of 10th realm powerhouses and 6 11th realm powerhouses could completely disrupt the situation in the 5 domains. Therefore, Lin Yuan set a 500-year period for everyone. With this buffer time, losing the inhalation and exhalation of the Eye of the North Sea, the 5 domains' heavenly earth vital energy will recover, and it's possible for some 10th or even 11th realm powerhouses to emerge after 500 years. Yes, Master Nalan and the other powerhouses agreed without hesitation. They had managed to wait for thousands, tens of thousands of years. Naturally, a mere 500 years was not a problem. In that case, with a wave of his hand, Lin Yuan sent out specks of light that flew into the foreheads of each powerful being. These specks of light were formulated by Lin Yuan using the aura of the North Sea Island combined with his own power. If anyone left the boundaries of the North Sea Island region, it would trigger the light to self-destruct. Remember, you can go to the 5 domains only after 500 years. Lin Yuan reminded them once more before his figure disappeared from view. Oh! 5 domains. Chapter 185 Return. Please subscribe. _3 Great Xia Empire. For 120 years, Nuan Shu and the various demon lords, strictly following Lin Yuan's instructions, governed the 5 domains in an orderly manner. And thus they established a vast empire, named the Great Xia Empire. The Xia here is taken from the word Xia in Xiahou Yuan's surname. Great Xia Empire, Imperial Palace. Nuan Shu rubbed her brow, her expression revealing weariness. The Great Xia Empire had no emperor, only 12 ministers assisting the state, led by Nuan Shu, formerly under the command of Demon Venerable Xiahou Yuan. The concentration of heavenly earth vital energy is increasing again? Nuan Shu walked to the window, murmuring to herself. Over the years, she too had stepped into the 9th realm, and with her keen senses, she had naturally noticed that across the entire mainland of the 5 domains, the heavenly earth vital energy was slowly becoming more concentrated. In the future, the heavenly earth vital energy will continue to increase until 50 years from now, when it recovers to the environment from hundreds of thousands of years ago. Just then, a deep voice suddenly sounded, startling Nuan Shu. When Nuan Shu turned around and saw the owner of the voice, her eyes immediately began to redden. "My lord!" Nuan Shu immediately knelt down, speaking excitedly. "Rise." Lin Yuan shook his head. "These 10 tokens contain the power I have left behind." No sooner had Lin Yuan's words fallen than 10 wooden tokens floated in front of Nuan Shu. In the future, should you face an insolvable predicament, you may shatter a token, and then the power within the token will grant you temporary strength of the 13th realm, Lin Yuan said indifferently. This was also the safeguard Lin Yuan had left for the Great Xia Empire. Even if hundreds of thousands or millions of years passed, the power of the 13th realm would still be able to sweep away and crush everything. Yes. With some hesitation, Nuan Shu couldn't help but ask, "My lord, are you leaving us?" The words Lin Yuan said had led Nuan Shu to an unsettling speculation. With Lin Yuan's strength, why would he need to leave tokens as a last resort if he were still in the world? Where in the world is there no separation? Lin Yuan shook his head, clearly consenting. "Then where are you going, my lord?" Nuan Shu gathered her courage to ask. "Where to?" Lin Yuan pondered for a moment. From whence I came, there I shall return. Lin Yuan's figure vanished, leaving behind only Nuan Shu still kneeling on the ground, her face a portrait of confusion. Southern Domain. In the midst of a dense forest, the figure of Lin Yuan appeared. Lin Yuan glanced. He noticed at a distant mountain village, Xiaohua, Xinlang, and Yang Bixin, disguised as commoners, were playing with children there. Ah, the children of destiny, Lin Yuan sighed. If it weren't for him, Xiaohua, Xinlang, and Yang Bixin would probably have become the most dazzling trio in the Five Domains mainland. After all, these three were favored by the world's consciousness, intended to be the principal force to resolve the Eye of the North Sea. But now, these three were clearly stricken hard by Lin Yuan, directly retreating to live in seclusion in a remote forest. Western Domain. In the midst of a desert, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged on the sand. It's time to leave. Lin Yuan let his thoughts wander. This moment was only a short while away from the end of his time here. Martial Tao. Lin Yuan's perception spread infinitely, faintly feeling the force of life carried by the martial Tao cultivators spread across the Five Domains mainland. If one day, the martial Tao cultivation system disappears from this world, Lin Yuan suddenly murmured to himself, then a second Eye of the North Sea will appear. Lin Yuan's thoughts flickered slightly and the Eye of the North Sea, fine as a strand of hair, appeared before him. Then he swallowed it in one gulp. Next, he began sinking into the desert, sinking continuously, without end. Meanwhile, on the other side of the desert, heavenly earth vital energy coalesced, forming a figure. This figure had eyes of pure gold, lofty and aloof, cold and unfeeling. It glanced at the spot where Lin Yuan had sunk in, then its form once again turned into heavenly earth vital energy and disappeared on the spot. Chapter 186 Chikuan Star-Lord. I just went into seclusion, and you're already 5th rank? Please subscribe. Main World. Kanglan Star, Central Continent Manor. In a daze, Lin Yuan opened his eyes. Back already? As consciousness returned, Lin Yuan quickly woke up. Nearly 20 days have passed. Lin Yuan checked the time. 300 years had passed in the Five Regions world, but only half a month had gone by in the main world. The final arrangement? Lin Yuan stepped out of the nutrition pod, went to the balcony, leaned on the railing, and fell into deep thought. Before leaving the Five Domains mainland for the last time, Lin Yuan left a contingency with his own body. It was that if one day, his body no longer sensed the unique vital energy fluctuations emitted by the martial Tao cultivators on the Five Domains mainland, then the body submerged beneath the endless desert of the Western Domain would self-destruct. In the Five Regions world, Lin Yuan's strength before departure was at the 18th realm. Converted to the main world's realms, that would be the 5th rank, 12th segment. Such level of powerhouses with the vast energy contained within their bodies, if they self-destructed, then it's estimated that the entire Western Domain continent would fall into ruin and collapse. It might even affect the other domains' continents. Of course, to the high and mighty world consciousness, losing a few continents would have no impact, but before leaving, Lin Yuan transformed the Eye of the North Sea into a black speck as thin as a strand of hair and swallowed it as well. Once his body exploded, the terrifying release of energy might very well tear that speck open again, forming a new Eye of the North Sea. When that happened, whether the world consciousness could find a second Lin Yuan was highly doubtful. This was also the final warning Lin Yuan left for the world consciousness. Keep your promises or we all go down together. As for whether the world consciousness could perceive Lin Yuan's warning, after leaving the Eye of the North Sea, Lin Yuan vaguely felt a sense of being watched. That was the world consciousness. To the Five Regions world, Lin Yuan was a world-ending level threat, and was always under the focus of world consciousness wherever he went. Therefore, the last few words Lin Yuan said to himself others couldn't hear, but the world consciousness definitely could. Even to make the world consciousness understand, Lin Yuan purposely took out that black speck from the Eye of the North Sea and swallowed it again right in front of it. This dimensional travel, Lin Yuan began to examine himself, organizing the gains from this travel. First off, it was the realm of strength. From the 4th rank 12th segment to the current 5th rank 12th segment, he had crossed an entire great realm, giving Lin Yuan's strength a qualitative leap. Next was the comprehension of other evolution paths. In addition to the Xianhuang evolutionary path, Lin Yuan had comprehended more than 100 evolution paths in the 7-star cave world, including those 16 that surpassed the 6th rank. Lin Yuan had already grasped them all. He had even comprehended the 5th rank chapter of the Xianhuang evolutionary path and was now pondering the 6th rank chapter. This Xianhuang evolutionary path. Lin Yuan's expression turned contemplative. Even with his against heaven's understanding, after pondering for 300 years, he had only reached the 5th rank chapter. How could other evolvers comprehend it? Lin Yuan speculated. There were 2 possible ways to cultivate the Xianhuang evolutionary path. One was that the evolvers suited for the Xianhuang evolutionary path might comprehend it at an inconceivably fast rate. It should be noted that Lin Yuan wasn't actually suitable for the Xianhuang evolutionary path. His understanding of it was purely forced, a mere entry forced by his against heaven's understanding. The other possibility was that comprehending the Xianhuang evolutionary path required some auxiliary item. Lacking such an item, Lin Yuan's comprehension was so slow. Lin Yuan felt the latter was more likely. Or perhaps both possibilities existed. After the Chiquan Star Lord took him as a disciple, he only gave a brief explanation before going back into seclusion. He hadn't had the time to explain in detail the origins and cultivation methods of the Xianhuang evolutionary path to Lin Yuan. Of course, it was also possible that the Chiquan Star Lord never imagined Lin Yuan's progress would be so rapid. Never mind that. As long as I can comprehend it, that's good enough. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and decided not to think too much about it. After all, the Xianhuang evolutionary path had indeed helped him greatly. The martial path evolutionary path had been smoothly developed to the 5th rank 12th segment, and the Xianhuang evolutionary path, along with other evolution paths, had played a significant role. Even the forthcoming 6th rank, or even the 7th rank, these evolution paths had given Lin Yuan plenty of inspiration and direction. 6th rank? Lin Yuan muttered to himself. Since he had reached the 5th rank 12th segment, naturally the next consideration was the 6th rank. In the main World Human Civilization Alliance, the transition from 5th rank to 6th rank was a watershed. Below the 6th rank, as long as there were sufficient conditions, evolvers could freely change their evolution paths. For example, Lulan He from the Thunder Rainstar region replicated his physique to change from one evolution path to another. Or like some cosmic rare treasures that once ingested would cleanse many evolution marks on the body, returning it to its initial state and allowing a choice to cultivate a new evolution path. But reaching the 6th rank, the evolution path seeps into the soul, and changing it becomes no easy task. Even if a great price is paid to switch the evolution path, one can only switch to a similar source evolution path. For instance, a water system 6th rank evolver who wants to change paths can, at most, switch to another water system evolution path. As for cultivating a fire system evolution path, impossible. So, before cultivating to the 6th rank, one must be prudent. Because once at the 6th rank, some aspects become irreversible. First, restore my strength. Lin Yuan had already grasped a rough direction for the 6th rank, but the specifics of how to develop the martial path evolutionary path's 6th rank chapter still required careful consideration. Chapter 187 Chiquan Star Lord. I just closed the gate for a bit, and you're already 5th rank? Subscribe please _2bang. Lin Yuan returned to his room. He took out the bottle of Scarlet Spirit liquid. This was a privilege exclusively for the peak masters of the Red Kuan lineage. As a disciple of the Chiquan Star Lord, Lin Yuan didn't need to waste time on basic energy accumulation. As long as he reached the realm required, he could directly transform his physical soul with this Scarlet Spirit liquid. Before the 4th traverse, Lin Yuan had applied for a bottle of Scarlet Spirit liquid as preparation for this moment. Gulp, gulp. Lin Yuan picked up the bottle of Scarlet Spirit liquid. He tilted his head back and started drinking. While breaking through from 4th rank level 11 to 4th rank level 12, Lin Yuan dared only to consume a drop of Scarlet Spirit liquid. Any more would be a tremendous waste, despite the mild energy of the scarlet spirit liquid not causing his physical body to burst. But now, from 4th rank to 5th rank, an entire great realm, a single drop of scarlet spirit liquid was naturally far from enough for Lin Yuan. With a breath, as a great amount of scarlet spirit liquid entered, it transformed into vast volumes of mild power, which Lin Yuan quickly absorbed. Physical body, soul, both were transforming at an extraordinarily fast pace. 1 or 2 days later, outside the main building of the manor, Ho Ming was meticulously scanning his surroundings. As the captain of the guard for the 13th Peak Master of the Red Kuan lineage, Ho Ming's task was to ensure the 13th Peak Master's safety. For that, he would even sacrifice his own life. This was an instinct rooted deep within Ho Ming's soul. He was a 6th rank evolver secretly trained by the Red Kuan lineage. Naturally, there would be no issues with his loyalty. What is this? As Ho Ming was patrolling, suddenly, a faint fluctuation reached him. Ho Ming swiftly turned around, looking towards the main building behind him. If not for this faint fluctuation which carried Lin Yuan's aura, Ho Ming might have instinctively attacked at this moment. For this weak fluctuation had already reached the 5th rank. It's the Peak Master. Ho Ming's pupils slightly constricted. He found it hard to believe. He remembered that not long ago Lin Yuan's strength was still at the 4th rank level 11, and now he had already stepped into the 5th rank. How is this possible? Worthy of being the disciple of a Star Lord, Ho Ming sighed, feeling that the Chikuan Star Lord had indeed spotted a true gem. I must ensure the Peak Master's safety. After his moment of reflection, Ho Ming's spirit rose once again. After becoming Lin Yuan's captain of the guards, Ho Ming's loyalty was solely to Lin Yuan. Even the Chikuan Star Lord could no longer command him. I've finally recovered. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, a smile appearing on his face. This recovery of strength was unprecedentedly smooth compared to the previous 3 times. It was worth exposing some of my talents to become the 13th Peak Master of the Red Kuan lineage. Lin Yuan thought to himself. If he didn't have the identity of the 13th Peak Master, he would probably still be worrying about which cosmic rare treasures to choose to buy. Moreover, many of the evolution paths also needed to be purchased. There's still 1/10 left. Lin Yuan glanced at the scarlet spirit liquid in front of him. He then put it away to save it for next time. 5th rank level 12. I can now organize the 5th stage section of the martial path evolutionary path. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, contemplating internally. Now that Lin Yuan had almost completed the 5th rank stage, the next step was figuring out how to step into the 6th rank. 5th stage section. Lin Yuan's thoughts whirled. The 2nd layer chapter of the martial path evolutionary path involved the fusion of 2 extreme powers of yin and yang, known as the Taiji Dao. The 3rd layer chapter was an understanding of numerous rules. The 4th rank chapter involved further understanding of these rules, perfecting the Taiji Dao. As for the 5th stage section, it was the primordial spirit, the Tai-Yin primordial spirit, Taiyang divine spirit, and their union, the Taiji primordial spirit. Of course, to reduce the difficulty of the martial Dao cultivation pathway, Lin Yuan divided the primordial spirit of the 5th stage section into 3 levels. The Tai-Yin primordial spirit, Taiyang divine spirit, and the final Taiji primordial spirit. The evolvers after need not cultivate into a Taiji primordial spirit. They only need to cultivate either a Taiyang divine spirit or a Tai-Yin primordial spirit. This is quite similar to the yin-yang realm of the 2nd layer chapter. In the Dragon Tiger world, all the heavenly masters cultivate either the Tai-Yin pole extreme or the Taiyang pole extreme. As for the Taiji, which unifies yin and yang, only Lin Yuan has managed to cultivate it. Thus, in the martial path evolutionary path's 3rd rank chapter, Lin Yuan also divided it into 3 layers. Tai-Yin chapter, Taiyang chapter, and the Taiji chapter. These 3 tiers are laid out side by side, allowing the cultivator to choose based on their own talent. In the martial Tao cultivation system after the 5th rank, the primordial spirit can leave the physical body to act on its own, much like the special talent avatar. Suddenly, Lin Yuan thought to himself, the talent avatar is a method possessed by a few unique races deep in the cosmic starry skies. It can separate out a body, akin to an external incarnation. After Lin Yuan reached the 5th rank, his condensed primordial spirit was similar to an avatar. Although it lacked flesh and blood, the power it demonstrated with just the force of the primordial spirit wasn't much weaker than his physical body. In some aspects, it was even stronger. For example, speed without the constraints of a physical body. The speed of the primordial spirit was inconceivably swift. And size. The primordial spirit is a concentration of soul force. Theoretically, it could be infinitely large. With Lin Yuan's current strength of his primordial spirit, if he exerted his full power, he could transform into a giant of 1,000,000 feet. I have more than one primordial spirit. Both Yin spirit and Yang spirit can act independently, akin to having two avatars. Lin Yuan secretly thought to himself, if an avatar with the talent avatar perishes, regenerating it would require a significant sacrifice. Even some talent's avatar would be lost forever once dead. But Lin Yuan's primordial spirits, as long as the physical body, Yin spirit, and Yang spirit don't all perish at the same time, they could quickly evolve into the other two. The Tao of Taiji, where Yin and Yang blend, the extreme of Yin turns to Yang and the extreme of Yang turns to Yin. Yin and Yang can naturally convert into each other. Even if the Yang spirit is destroyed, as long as the Yin spirit still exists, it could quickly split off a Yang spirit. A few days later, Lin Yuan had almost finished organizing the 5th stage section. Goddess of Wisdom. Lin Yuan connected to the Goddess of Wisdom, planning to upload the 5th stage section. Having realized the importance of spreading the teachings, Lin Yuan naturally would not keep them to himself. Besides, given the difficulty of practicing the 5th stage section, other evolvers, no matter how talented, could at most cultivate either a Yin spirit or a Yang spirit. As for a Taiji primordial spirit like Lin Yuan's, even if it were cultivated, it would be only after thousands or tens of thousands of years. Moreover, through traveling across the 5 regions world, Lin Yuan faintly realized, as long as he, a founder, was still alive, other cultivators on the martial path evolutionary path were naturally suppressed by him. Just like Xiahou Yuan's suppression over the demonic Tao in the world. Of course, initially, Lin Yuan's suppression of other martial arts evolutionaries was not apparent. But as his power increased, this suppression would gradually intensify. Virtual world. Within a vast palace, the elder clad in a crimson robe suddenly opened his eyes. At this moment, his eyes burned like constant stars, yet no longer radiated light and heat. Obviously, he had barely managed control. Finally, I've mastered this secret technique. The Chikuan Star Lord closed his eyes, and upon reopening them, the star pupils had vanished. To cultivate this secret technique, the Chikuan Star Lord had paid a great price, having acquired dozens of star cores, and at last refined them within his eyes. My dear disciple must be getting impatient. Just after mastering the secret technique, Chikuan Star Lord thought of his newly accepted 13th disciple. He couldn't help it. During the secret technique cultivation period, most of his focus was concentrated in his eyes, utterly unable to suppress the power of the star cores. So after hastily accepting Lin Yuan, he resumed his closed-door cultivation. Dear disciple, come and see me. Chikuan Star Lord connected his consciousness to the virtual world, confirmed that Lin Yuan was not in seclusion but was online, and promptly sent an invitation. Kanglan Star, Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan had just finished uploading the Martial Path Evolutionary Path's 5th stage section. Then he received a request from the Chikuan Star Lord. Dear disciple, come and see me. The voice message from Chikuan Star Lord echoed in his ears. The teacher has emerged from seclusion. Lin Yuan immediately stood up, his consciousness also connected to the virtual world, arriving at a vast palace. Everything here was fiery red. Greeting, teacher. Lin Yuan bowed lightly towards the Chikuan Star Lord seated on the high throne. Yes, get up. The Chikuan Star Lord scrutinized Lin Yuan closely. Suddenly, his expression slightly changed. Although Lin Yuan had not synced his power in the virtual world, which is to say, Lin Yuan's physical soul was still at the peak of the 4th rank, but with the eyesight of the Chikuan Star Lord, after a few more glances, he subtly sensed that Lin Yuan's mental power had surpassed the 4th rank. Dear disciple, have you reached the 5th rank? After a moment of silence, the Chiquan Star Lord could not help but ask. Chapter 188, The Evolution Scholar. Please subscribe. A few days ago, I chanced upon the entry into the 5th stage. Lin Yuan did not deny it. The human civilization is vast and boundless, filled with countless geniuses. A span of 1 or 2 years to cross a great realm might be considered rare for a certain star domain or for a few star domains. However, if looked at from the entire territory of human civilization, it's not so dazzling after all. Not to mention others, in years past, the Chiquan Star Lord seized the body of a starry sky wanderer Kuan juvenile and ascended in a single step, a legend that spread through more than half of the human civilization territory. So, as long as Lin Yuan remained a member of the human race, and did not reveal the door to the myriad realms deep in his mind, even if he displayed an extraordinary talent, no problems would arise. Instead, he would be treasured and protected even more by the Chiquan Star Lord and the Goddess of Wisdom. Over 2 million years of the Starry Sea era, the Human Civilization Alliance swept through the 8 directions of the universe, causing different species to retreat step by step. Aside from those few top powerhouses, what was more important was the protection mechanism for geniuses. Without this mechanism continuously supplying fresh blood, the dominant presence of human civilization that pressured many different species would not be possible. Truly reached the 5th stage, the Chiquan Star Lord fell silent, thinking it was an illusion just moments ago. Only when he heard Lin Yuan confirm it did he immediately realize that his newly accepted disciple had a talent even greater than he had anticipated. Comprehending the Xian Huang evolutionary path merely indicates one's suitability for training in this evolution path, but how high one can eventually go is still an unknown matter. However, given Lin Yuan's current performance, his potential in the future goes without saying. Let me take a moment. The Chiquan Star Lord rubbed his temples. He had already arranged a series of training plans for Lin Yuan during his retreat. The Chiquan Star Lord was skilled in guiding disciples and casually went through the battle videos from Lin Yuan's arena matches again after his previous exit from seclusion. From that, he came up with a training plan tailored for Lin Yuan. This training plan was custom-built for Lin Yuan, accurate to every step of his subsequent cultivation. But now, Lin Yuan had broken through to the 5th stage. The training plan thought out by the Chiquan Star Lord naturally had to be scrapped. It wasn't because the Chiquan Star Lord's training plan was limited to the 4th rank chapter. In fact, his training plan covered the 6th rank chapter, even including advice on how to break through to the 6th rank. However, this training plan was based on Lin Yuan as previously known to the Chiquan Star Lord. Now that Lin Yuan had stepped into the 5th stage, his talent surpassed the expectations of the Chiquan Star Lord, and to use the original training plan would be obviously inappropriate. Simply put, the training plan was no longer worthy of Lin Yuan's current level. I need to think. The Chiquan Star Lord was very cautious. He was well aware that the more genius one was, the less they needed to be directed and interfered with. From the Chiquan Star Lord's perspective, he could directly guide and even personally plan the path ahead for an ordinary evolver. But for a top-tier genius evolver, the Chiquan Star Lord had to be careful, because he did not know if the path he planned for this top-tier genius evolver was indeed the right one. Geniuses often carve their own paths, and interference from others would only suppress their genius. I never thought I, Chiquan, would be troubled by such matters one day. The Chiquan Star Lord felt somewhat worried inside. The 12 disciples he had taken before did not display talent that reached the level of Lin Yuan's, so the Chiquan Star Lord guided them quite casually. You can go back first. I need more time to think. After observing Lin Yuan for a while and having a brief conversation, the Chiquan Star Lord fell back into deep thought. Yes. Lin Yuan bowed and then disappeared from the spot. With Lin Yuan's departure, the vast Crimson Palace was once again left with only the Chiquan Star Lord. How to cultivate him? The Chiquan Star Lord frowned in deep thought. Xiaohong. Suddenly, the Chiquan Star Lord spoke up. Master, Xiaohong is here. A mechanical voice sounded. It was the Chiquan Star Lord's intelligence assistant, Xiaohong. That rule crystal I collected 80,000 years ago, it's still around, isn't it? The Chiquan Star Lord asked. It is, Master. Xiaohong immediately responded. Send that rule crystal to my disciple. The the Chikuan Star Lord said after a moment's thought. Master, that is a rule crystal. Xiaohong paused slightly, having evolved into a sentient AI with its own thoughts and emotions after following the Chikuan Star Lord for many years. Yes. Seeing that the Chikuan Star Lord was silent, Xiaohong could only comply. Kanglan Star, Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan disconnected from the virtual world. Wonder what the teacher wanted me for. Lin Yuan was puzzled, suspecting his advancement into the 5th stage might have disrupted some of the Chikuan Star Lord's plans. But Lin Yuan was at a loss. In front of a powerhouse like the Chikuan Star Lord, Lin Yuan couldn't hide his true strength. This time when he met the Chikuan Star Lord, Lin Yuan hadn't even synced with the virtual world, but his true strength was still detected by the Chikuan Star Lord. The power of the soul, Lin Yuan secretly thought. The power of the soul is the most fundamental strength of an evolver, and it was the detection of a soul power surpassing the 4th rank that led the Chikuan Star Lord to conclude Lin Yuan had entered the 5th stage. While Lin Yuan was deep in thought, the solemn and cool voice of the Goddess of Wisdom rang out. Respected 5th-level citizen Lin Yuan, after the final judgment, your submission for the 5th stage section has been valued at 200,000 merit points. 200,000 merit points. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. It's important to note this isn't the value of the martial path evolutionary path, but merely the value of the 5th stage section itself. The likelihood of the martial path evolutionary path advancing to the 6th rank is 95%. Chapter 189 Evolution Scholar, Subscription Request, _2, the possibility of advancing to the 7th rank is 20%, and the possibility of moving on to the 8th rank evolution path is 5%. Lin Yuan immediately looked at the updated information on the martial path evolutionary path. With the upload of the 5th stage section, the Goddess of Wisdom would definitely reassess the information of the martial path evolutionary path and draw an updated conclusion. The possibility of advancing to the 6th rank didn't reach 100%? Lin Yuan felt somewhat regretful. Little did he know, among the countless evolution paths recorded by the Human Civilization Alliance, there wasn't a single one below the 6th rank that guarantees advancement to the 6th rank. Most of the 5th rank evolution paths had only a 30% to 40% chance of ascending to the 6th rank, and it was considered rare to exceed 50%. The martial path evolutionary path's chance of ascending to the 6th rank had reached 95%, ranking it among the very top of all 5th rank evolution paths. The possibility of advancing to the 7th rank increased by 10%, and there was an added 5% possibility of advancing to the 8th rank. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. It was evident that Lin Yuan's upload of the 5th stage section had brought about a qualitative change to the martial path evolutionary path. This was expected, as after all, the method of refining the primordial spirit in the 5th stage section was an extraordinarily rare technique. Though Lin Yuan estimated that the majority of future evolvers who refined their primordial spirits would only have one, this was a method akin to the talent of Avatar. The latest ranking of the Chikuan evolution rankings, 53rd place? Lin Yuan glanced at the updated ranking of the martial path evolutionary path. He was still first on the Kanglan evolution ranking. On the Chikuan evolution rankings, he had moved up from near the bottom of the top 100 to 53rd place. Actually, even some of the evolution paths in the top 50 of the Chikuan evolution rankings had a lower chance of advancing to the 8th rank than the martial path evolutionary path. But alas, most of these evolution paths were 7th rank evolution paths, surpassing the martial path evolutionary path by 2 levels. The rankings on the evolution rankings were determined by many factors, and potential was only one aspect. 5th-level citizen advancing to a 6th-level citizen requires 500,000 merit points. Why don't you just rob someone? Lin Yuan sighed. Even though he had created the martial path evolutionary path that broke into the top 53 of the Chikuan evolution rankings, the total accumulated merit points were still far from the 500,000 needed to rise to a 6th-level citizen. One could imagine the difficulty of advancing to a 6th-level citizen. Even Lin Yuan faced this challenge, let alone other evolvers who might need thousands to tens of thousands of years to amass such a vast amount of merit points. However, higher-level citizens have many privileges within human civilization. To enjoy these privileges, hefty sacrifices must be made. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Although he couldn't gather 500,000 merit points this time, maybe next time, or at most the time after that, he definitely would. Chicoin main virtual world. In the Central Plaza area, numerous evolvers chatted in small groups. Naturally, most of them discussed topics related to the martial path evolutionary path. There was no helping it. The top 100 evolution paths on the Chicoin evolution rankings might not change for thousands to tens of thousands of years, and everyone had talked about each path to the point of exhaustion. Basically, everything that could be discussed had been discussed. However, the martial path evolutionary path had only recently entered the rankings, and even though it only occupied a spot in the lower part of the top 100, it still generated immense interest, especially due to its astonishingly quick advancement speed, which was a hot topic among many evolvers. I wonder which Evolver Scholar's experimental product was deployed to the Chicoin star domain. Evolver Scholars, they are on par with, no, even more important than high-rank evolvers. They are treasures of the human race. Many evolvers and high-level citizens whispered among themselves. In human civilization, the status of Evolver Scholars was so high it was unimaginable. Many of them were not skilled in combat, but their contributions to human civilization were no less than those high-rank evolvers who constantly battled different species on the frontiers. To become an Evolver Scholar, one prerequisite was to pioneer an entirely new 8th rank evolution path, or discoveries equivalent to an 8th rank evolution path or technological inventions. This was a pathway that could continuously produce 8th rank evolvers, potentially benefiting the human race for hundreds of thousands to millions of years. What do you think? When will the martial path evolutionary path continue to climb in the rankings? A 4th rank evolver asked curiously. If the martial path evolutionary path was developed by an Evolver Scholar, then its final ranking would definitely not settle within the top 100 of the Chicoin evolution rankings. Continue to climb the rankings. It probably won't happen anytime soon. A 3rd-level citizen couldn't help commenting. Even an Evolver Scholar couldn't just randomly create an evolution path with a potential of the 7th or even 8th rank. The establishment of an evolution path required careful consideration, and in the end, it needed the approval of the 3 goddesses. I think so too. The Yuan Scholar who founded the martial path evolutionary path is indeed learned and knowledgeable, but our Chicoin star domain's evolution rankings aren't just for anyone. Hasn't that evolution path withstood the test of time? Another evolver spoke up, rising to his feet and pointing towards the towering Chicoin evolution rankings, finally resting his finger on the martial path evolutionary path at the very end. I bet, for at least the next 3 years, the rankings won't change. Before the evolver could finish, it had already reached the daily update time for the Chicoin evolution rankings. Suddenly, the 100 evolutionary paths on the rankings began to blur. After a few breaths, the names of all the evolution paths came into focus again. The standing evolver suddenly realized that the evolution path he was pointing to was no longer the martial path evolutionary path. Goodness! He immediately sensed that something was amiss. His gaze shifted upwards. Finally, at the 53rd spot, he found the martial path evolutionary path. Meanwhile, at the Central Plaza area, many evolvers and high-level citizens were astounded once again. The martial path evolutionary path had leaped dozens of places, soaring from the top 100 to the 53rd, utterly shattering their conventional views. This wasn't just any planetary evolution ranking, but the evolution ranking of the Chicoin star domain, which recorded all the evolutionary paths of over 1 million life planets across the whole star domain. Every evolution path listed in the Chicoin evolution rankings had gone through numerous trials. Let alone leaping dozens of places at once. Even moving up 1 or 2 places was extremely difficult, requiring a major breakthrough somewhere to succeed. 5th stage section? The martial path evolutionary path has updated the 5th stage section. It must be this section that caused the martial path evolutionary path's rank to surge. Buy it quickly for research. I want to see what it was that allowed the martial path to bypass 40 to 56th rank evolution paths. In the Central Plaza area, several evolvers immediately began to purchase the 5th stage section of the martial path evolutionary path. In the human cosmic territory, near the eastern side, on a gigantic planet within a vast star domain. This planet was immensely huge, surpassing higher life planets, and was home to numerous research institutes. At the highest institute, an elderly man in a white research robe was staring at the screen before him. Infinite data emerged on the screen with many formulas and conclusions flashing by. It's about finished. The elderly man closed his eyes, intending to rest for a while. His consciousness connected to the virtual world, entering the Founders World's forum. My post from back then? Someone replied again? The elderly man looked somewhat surprised, as he had left a question on the Founders Forum 23,000 years ago. Is it better to perceive one rule? Or is it better to perceive multiple rules? Over the years, people had occasionally added their insights under this question. But none of the answers had satisfied the elderly man. Let's see. He immediately went into the thread. Since he was idle, looking back at the question he once faced during rest was also a gain. It's naturally to perceive one rule, as the universe has so many rules. To perceive every one of them, even those residing high in the evolution tower wouldn't manage it, right? Perceiving just one rule will ultimately have its limitations. If possible, one should naturally perceive multiple rules. The elderly man skimmed through the recent replies, shaking his head constantly. Obviously, none of the replies had satisfied him, until he came across the very last reply. This was the most recent reply, just over a month old. Perceive a certain rule, then use this principle to command all others. The elderly man was slightly stunned, his face showing surprise. Chapter 190. I don't think your view on the Marshall Path evolutionary path is comprehensive. Please subscribe. To command 1,000 paths with a single one? The old man's eyes quickly flickered with vast amounts of data. Clearly, he was computing the feasibility of such a method. In fact, whether it's better to comprehend one rule or multiple rules, there has been a near-standard answer for 20,000 years. It depends on oneself. If you are naturally close to multiple rules, then it is naturally better to comprehend multiple rules. If you have a higher affinity for a certain rule, then it is naturally better to focus on comprehending that rule first. But now, this latest response gave the old man a different direction. No, that's not right. To command 1,000 paths with a single one, first and foremost, this single path must be overwhelmingly suppressive towards the 1,000 paths. If it's just a path on the same level, why would it command 1,000? The old man deduced for a long time and hit a dead end. But this method is indeed possible. Reinvigorated, the old man ignored the data that kept appearing on the nearby screen. No, I have to have a good chat with this fellow. The old man immediately clicked on the avatar of the person who gave this response, trying to obtain their contact information directly. Not enough permission? The old man blinked his eyes. I'm at least a level 8 citizen. How can I not have enough permission? The old man muttered. Let's see if I can. Many streams of data once again flickered through the old man's eyes. However, the next moment, a solemn and cool voice came through. Great Scholar Tay, your actions violate Article 13 of the Human Alliance's Constitution. If you continue, you will receive the corresponding punishment. Heh. Goddess of Wisdom, I was just trying to see if there were any loopholes in the information blockade set by you three goddesses, with absolutely no intention of violating the Constitution. The old man quickly explained with a chuckle. Great Scholar Tay, whether there are loopholes or not will have corresponding handling measures. It's not your concern. The Goddess of Wisdom's tone remained unfluctuating. All right then. The old man sat back down. By the way, Goddess of Wisdom, why is there such extensive information lockdown on the citizen who offered that response, to the extent that even I cannot inquire about their information? The old man paused for a while, immediately asking probingly. It should be known that the old man was a level 8 citizen, and also a rare evolution scholar whose status could rank in the top 3 among dozens of surrounding star domains. Great Scholar Tay, you don't have enough permission to know about this matter. The Goddess of Wisdom answered indifferently. Oh. Great Scholar Tay fell into contemplation. Could it be that the other party is also a great scholar, and one of those researching top-secret achievements? Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense for their information to be completely inaccessible. Forget it. I'll play it straight. Great Scholar Tay thought for a long time, and realizing there was no shortcut, he left his own question under the to command 1,000 paths with a single one response. As long as the person who gave this response logs in and enters the founder's world, they will see it. Kanglan Star. Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Many pieces of information about the Martial Path evolutionary path appeared on the screen before him. First tier chapter, 36,783 people. Second layer chapter, 494 people. Third rank chapter 0. Lin Yuan was looking at the number of evolvers at each stage of the Martial Path evolutionary path. In the Cosmic Human Alliance, evolvers need to purchase the evolution path under their real names, and after becoming an evolver, they must register with the Evolvers Association. If they make any breakthroughs, they also need to go to the Evolvers Association to update their rank information. As a result, the human civilization's official data will naturally reveal the number of evolvers at each rank. Of course, there will be discrepancies, like if an evolver breaks through to the second layer but forgets to update their rank information because of other matters. However, such cases are relatively rare and fall within the margin of normal error. To date, not a single person has cultivated to the third rank chapter. Lin Yuan thought to himself. The third rank chapter of the Martial Path evolutionary path already involves the shallow understanding of rules. When Lin Yuan first created this chapter, he was in the divine arms world, had many divine weapons to contemplate, and possessed against heaven's understanding. For other evolvers in the main world, it was evident that they did not enjoy the benefits that Lin Yuan had. Therefore, even with a complete guide such as the Martial Path evolutionary path that Lin Yuan had developed, stepping into the third rank chapter was not going to be easy. I could make a tutorial video when I have the time, Lin Yuan secretly thought to himself. Since spreading his own evolutionary path would be beneficial for his ultimate leap in the future, Lin Yuan naturally wanted to lower the difficulty for other evolvers to cultivate the Martial Dao cultivation evolution path. This action would serve two purposes. Not only would it increase the number of evolvers on the Martial Path evolutionary path, but it would also create more revenue for him. With dedicated tutorial videos, other evolvers who were on the fence could have an epiphany and step into the realm of the Martial Dao. Another 100+ people have purchased the 5th rank chapter. Lin Yuan glanced at the sales numbers of the Martial Path evolutionary path and saw the number behind the 5th rank chapter was 126. This meant that 126 people had purchased the 5th rank chapter. When uploading the 5th rank chapter, Lin Yuan set the price at 500 million. First tier chapter, 10,000. Second layer chapter, 500,000. Third rank chapter, 5 million. Fourth rank chapter, 50 million. Fifth rank chapter, 500 million. With more than 100 copies of the 5th rank chapter sold, that equated to selling over 50 billion. Even after a split of proceeds and the deduction of related taxes, Lin Yuan would still take home over 10 billion. And this was just a few days after the upload. As time passes, the number of buyers would only increase. Chapter 191. I don't think your view on the Martial Path evolutionary path is comprehensive. Please subscribe. _2 Even many evolvers, despite not training, would buy it to study. After all, the Martial Path evolutionary path is currently ranked 53rd on the Chiquin evolution rankings. In terms of fame, the Martial Path evolutionary path is bigger, as making a leap of several tens of ranks in a short period of time can further spark the curiosity of other evolvers. Evening. Lin Yuan finished training. He went outside the main building, preparing to dine with his parents and sister. Since Lin Yuan spent most of his time training, even though the family lived in the same estate, they didn't see each other often. Thus, Lin Yuan made it a point to come out for a meal every so often. Brother, I am now a first-rank evolver, Lin Yi boasted while eating. Actually, Lin Yi becoming a first-rank evolver so quickly was quite normal. When Lin Yuan entered the 4th rank, he had performed marrow cleansing for Lin Yi. With Lin Yuan's strength under marrow cleansing, a strong foundation was laid for Lin Yi. Therefore, no matter which evolution path she took, it was easy, given that the foundation was there. Of course, this ease was only apparent in the 1st rank, at most the 2nd layer. From the 10th or 11th segments of the 2nd layer, she could only rely on herself. Xiaoyuan, you are not young anymore. Even if your main focus is on the path of evolution, you should also consider having a child. Mrs. Lu Qiong couldn't help but say. Nowadays, because of Lin Yuan, The Lin family had leapt from being an obscure family in Dongning City to becoming one of the top families on Kanglan Star. Mrs. Lu Qiong occasionally also connected to the virtual world, unaware of how many families and powerful forces on Kanglan Star wanted to introduce their precious daughters to Lin Yuan. "There's no rush on this matter, we can talk about it later," Lin Yuan said casually. The powerful evolvers of the main world had different attitudes towards progeny. Many evolvers focused on the path of evolution felt progeny was superfluous. Lin Yuan held a similar view. No matter where or when, personal strength is always the fundamental base. As for offspring, they are just a numerical accumulation. As long as Lin Yuan was there, even if alone, it would still be the most top-tier family nobility. If one day Lin Yuan was gone, even if they had many descendants, it would be of no use. It would be just like monkeys scattering upon the fall of a tree. As the family was chatting, "Master, someone has come to visit." The voice of the digital assistant sounded in his ear. "Who?" Lin Yuan asked. "Kanglan Star Governor Song Wuyang." Inside the main building's reception room, Lin Yuan and Governor Song Wuyang sat facing each other. Truly a once-in-millennia evolutionary genius of our Kanglan Star, Governor Song Wuyang was very pleased with Lin Yuan. Recently, in the arena competition, Lin Yuan had dominated the whole event with his 4th rank strength. To think, a 4th rank evolver under 100 years old being born on Kanglan Star was also a nice boost to his governance performance. It was merely by luck. Lin Yuan shook his head. Luck? In tens of thousands of years on Kanglan Star, could Mr. Lin be the only one lucky? Governor Song jokingly said. However, regarding the trial of the Chikuan Star Lord, Mr. Lin need not worry. Governor Song comforted. Lin Yuan not passing the 7-star cave trial was no secret. Though Lin Yuan was a 4th rank evolver at that time, tens of thousands of 4th rank evolvers participated in the 7-star cave trial and very few passed. The 7-star cave trial initiated by the Chikuan Star Lord targeted the comprehensive aspects of the challengers, where strength was only one aspect and not even the most significant. What a pity! Lin Yuan slightly shook his head, displaying a hint of regret. In the arena, Lin Yuan simply showed his 4th rank strength, but the Chikuan Star Lord was able, through his own judgment and the source video sent by the Goddess of Wisdom, to confirm that Lin Yuan had begun to comprehend the rules, ultimately becoming a golden pattern challenger. As for the others, even among beings on the same level as the Chikuan Star Lord, without the source video, one still couldn't confirm the true extent of Lin Yuan's abilities. He was just perceived as an ordinary 4th rank. Such a 4th rank, among the tens of thousands of evolvers entering the 7-star cave trial, was quite common. As a result, it seemed quite normal to outsiders that Lin Yuan had failed the 7-star cave world trial. It was very inconspicuous. Governor Song came this time for. The two exchanged pleasantries for a moment before Lin Yuan took the initiative to ask. "There is something I need Mr. Lin's help with." Song Wuyang paused for a moment, then tentatively asked. "Mr. Lin is the youngest 4th rank evolver on Kanglan Star. Would you consider our invitation to become an honorary professor at Kanglan Evolution Academy?" "Don't worry, it's just honorary. Apart from showing up for the first few classes, afterwards you can come and go as you please. Even if Mr. Lin leaves Kanglan Star in the future, as long as you don't renounce the honorary professor title, you can always enjoy the many benefits that come with it." After finishing, Song Wuyang carefully observed Lin Yuan's reaction. Kanglan Evolution Academy, being the highest institute on Kanglan Star, gathered the most promising of the younger generation. Since they were the younger generation, they were naturally not very old, and Lin Yuan, as a 4th rank evolver under 100 years old, had great influence among the youth. If Lin Yuan could become an honorary professor of Kanglan Evolution Academy, it would undoubtedly be a significant inspiration for those students. After all, having their idol in the school, who among those students wouldn't be fully motivated to study and practice? "No problem." Lin Yuan contemplated for a while, then agreed. Primarily because this honorary professor role was really very liberal, having no binding force on him, and even when teaching students it was in the virtual world, no need to leave his estate. Besides, he could also collect a salary of 100,000 civilization coins per month. Of course, with Lin Yuan's current fortune, he wasn't concerned about the money. However, occasionally providing guidance to other evolvers was also a form of self-reflection for Lin Yuan, and with his against heaven's understanding, there might be unexpected gains. Since that's the case, then it's settled. Song Wuyang breathed a sigh of relief. He had been genuinely worried that Lin Yuan might refuse before his arrival. Since he had agreed to become an honorary professor at Kanglin Evolution Academy, Lin Yuan also felt it improper to not even show his face. In the virtual world, the president of Kanglin Higher Evolution Academy, alongside various professors and experts, personally welcomed Lin Yuan. Professor Lin is young and promising, making us old fellows truly ashamed, Professor Chu said with a laugh. He was also the most senior among the professors, not only a professor but also the vice president. I never thought I'd live to see such a talented evolver, Mr. Liu couldn't help saying as he sized Lin Yuan up. After chatting for a while, naturally the topic shifted to evolution paths. After all, everyone was either an expert or a professor, regularly engaging with knowledge in the field of evolution, which made it easy to find topics for discussion. And since the topic had shifted to evolution paths, it was impossible not to mention the recently popular Martial Path evolutionary path. Even on the main world of the Chikuan star domain, the Martial Path evolutionary path had caused quite a stir, and as Kanglin star was the initial world for this path, its popularity was naturally higher. All the experts and professors present had basically purchased the first 3 ranks of the Martial Path evolutionary path for study. Seeing that Lin Yuan sat there silently while the professors and experts discussed enthusiastically, Professor Chu, not wanting Lin Yuan to feel isolated, took the initiative to ask, "Professor Lin, what are your views on the Martial Path evolutionary path?" As soon as the question was asked, everyone quieted down. They were all looking forward to hearing Lin Yuan's opinion. They also wanted to hear the perspective of the most talented evolver in the history of Kanglin Star. My view on the Martial Path evolutionary path? A hint of amusement crossed Lin Yuan's face. If it had been any other question, he might not have had an answer. But regarding the Martial Path evolutionary path, naturally there were no issues. The Martial Path evolutionary path is based on vital energy. Lin Yuan roughly shared his views, but only limited to the first and second layer. The higher ranks were difficult to articulate merely by speech. The surrounding experts and professors listened intently, nodding occasionally. Once Lin Yuan finished, everyone started discussing in low voices. Moments later, Professor Liu and a few other professors discussed for a bit and then spoke up. "Professor Lin, your understanding is good, but somewhat one-sided and fails to reflect the true profundity of the Martial Path evolutionary path." My understanding of the Martial Path evolutionary path is one-sided? Lin Yuan fell into deep thought. Chapter 192 Rule Crystal. Subscribe please. Looking at Mr. Liu, whose eyes were shining brightly, Lin Yuan felt a flicker of oddness in his eyes. When it came to understanding the Martial Path evolutionary path, not to mention Mr. Liu, even those top-tier evolvers from the human civilization wouldn't surpass Lin Yuan. After all, the Martial Path evolutionary path was created and pioneered by Lin Yuan himself. How could others compare? It was as if Lin Yuan had set the questions, and he alone decided what the answers were. Could outsiders dare challenge the question setter? Of course, the identity of the founder of an evolutionary path was immensely significant, especially for the currently popular Martial Path evolutionary path. Naturally, Lin Yuan would not admit his identity here. You should know, in the Chikuan star domain, most evolvers and high-ranking citizens unanimously believed that the Martial Path evolutionary path was developed as an experimental product by some top-ranked evolver scholar. What is an evolver scholar? They are the absolute elite of human civilization, unchallenged both in terms of personal strength and contributions to human civilization. Those from different species outside human civilization were all desperate to assassinate an evolver scholar. An evolver scholar might have never been to the frontier battlefield, but their influence on it was profound through the evolutionary paths, secret techniques, and even technological achievements they developed. This could even decide the outcome of local wars. Unfortunately, the importance of evolver scholars was known to the different species, and naturally to the human race. Every evolver scholar was tightly protected. Moreover, evolver scholars were not weak, they too had their own means of protection. The different species couldn't even pin down where an evolver scholar was, let alone assassinate one. If Lin Yuan were to expose himself as the founder of the martial path evolutionary path, the different species would certainly launch an assassination without hesitation. Even if it cost several sixth-rank powerhouses who had infiltrated human territories, they would still fiercely target Lin Yuan. Why was the martial path evolutionary path considered an experimental product by an evolver scholar? Why hadn't other evolutionary paths been subject to such speculation? It was because of the high potential of the martial path evolutionary path, which was astonishingly high. A regular founder of an evolutionary path simply couldn't create such a high-level path. Only evolver scholars who transcended through time, possessing vast knowledge and also stood in high positions, could create such potent evolutionary paths. If the different species knew the martial path evolutionary path was created by an evolver who wasn't even 6th rank, they certainly wouldn't allow Lin Yuan to continue to grow. The martial path evolutionary path has the potential to grow into an 8th-layer evolutionary path, and Lin Yuan had a slim chance of becoming the next evolver scholar of human civilization. Assassinating Lin Yuan, even at a great cost, would be much lighter than facing the consequences on the battlefield due to Lin Yuan's research and inventions, which could lead to the fall of untold numbers of alien strong ones. Lin Yuan's thoughts converged. Listening to Mr. Lu's opinions. I think the martial path evolutionary path is not purely based on vital energy but integrates spiritual power, soul power, and mental strength among others. Mr. Lu spoke eloquently. The president of the Kanglin Evolution Academy nodded slightly, feeling that what Mr. Lu said made sense. Of course, this did not mean that what Lin Yuan said was not reasonable. Studying the martial path evolutionary path, everyone has their own views and insights. That's completely normal. Indeed, Lin Yuan's evolutive talent could be regarded as the best in Kanglin Star. He had reached the 4th rank before the age of 100. But precisely because of this, most of Lin Yuan's time was undoubtedly spent practicing. In contrast, although Mr. Lu's evolutive talent did not match Lin Yuan's. In recent years, since the martial path evolutionary path entered the Kanglin evolution ranking, he began his research. A deeper understanding of the martial path evolutionary path was only natural. All right, both Mr. Lu and Mr. Lin have their valid points. Although everyone has different views, we are all serving human civilization. Mr. Lin, please don't mind. Mr. Lu is like that, sometimes even daring to challenge the president. Professor Chu chuckled, smoothing things over. It's okay. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. He actually didn't mind Mr. Lu's questioning earlier, mainly because Lin Yuan found it hard to care, as every word Mr. Lu said was praising the martial path evolutionary path, and praising the martial path evolutionary path was essentially praising Lin Yuan as its founder, right? That's good then. Professor Chu nodded approvingly. Returning to the virtual world personal space, Lin Yuan contemplated the discussion he just had with those professors, mentioning their views and understandings of the martial path evolutionary path, which in turn gave him more insights and feelings. Practicing and learning are never done in isolation. Occasionally one must also interact with the outside world. Against Heaven's understanding is based on the depth of understanding and enlightenment Lin Yuan reaches at his level. The more Lin Yuan knew, and the broader his vision, the greater the effect of his Against Heaven's understanding. After examining himself, Lin Yuan noticed a little red dot on the Founder's Virtual World category. Someone contacted me? Lin Yuan instantly understood what this red dot meant. During his 4th traversal, in order to avoid disturbances, he had shut down any means to contact him. Message alert in Founder's World was naturally included. Who would contact me? Lin Yuan was curious. He was a newcomer to Founder's World, knowing no one and having no friends. Soon, Lin Yuan entered Founder's Virtual World. Is it the person who posted that post? Lin Yuan's expression became slightly serious. Chapter 193 Rule Crystal, Subscribe Request, _2 The problem with this post was, is it better to understand one rule or multiple rules? At the time, Lin Yuan gave an answer based on himself, never expecting a reply from the owner of the post. After all, the post had been published 23,000 years ago. The owner of the post might have long since died. How can one rule govern 10,000? Is it the time Great Tao or the space Great Tao? Lin Yuan looked at the reply from the owner of the post and fell into deep thought. He used his own Taiji Dao to govern the myriad Daos, but as for the time Great Tao and the space Great Tao, they were too remote for Lin Yuan. Whether it was the rule of time or space rules, both were among the supreme rules, only accessible to existences beyond the 6th rank. Lin Yuan was merely at the 5th rank. Even with his against heaven's understanding, he could hardly perceive time and space. With the rules mastered as the framework and many other rules as the flesh, naturally, one can govern 10,000 Daos. Lin Yuan thought for a while before voicing his viewpoint. In the distant reaches, a massive research planet. Great Scholar Te was just yawning, his research work was now at a halt, and he was free for the next few decades. A reply. Great Scholar Te immediately perked up. To be informed the moment his question was answered. Great Scholar Te had marked the Founder's World as special concern. He would receive notifications the moment there was any news. Framework? Flesh? Too vague. Great Scholar Te frowned slightly and continued. How exactly do you build your own framework of rules? Central Continent Manor on Kanglan Star. Lin Yuan had just replied when he received a new question. This person is just squatting there, huh? Lin Yuan scrutinized the inquiry before carefully responding. Combining the power of Tai-Yin with the power of Tai-Yang to form a stable microdomain, accommodating myriad Daos. Is he planning to open a realm? Great Scholar Te marveled. Following his brief exchange with Lin Yuan, Great Scholar Te determined that Lin Yuan was not another scholar. To become an evolver scholar, one must at least create and cultivate a new, stable 8th rank evolutionary path. This meant that an evolver scholar was at least a 8th rank evolver. The answers Lin Yuan gave him, while not wrong, didn't seem to come from an 8th rank evolver. At least, the formation of a stable domain combining the power of Tai-Yin and the power of Tai-Yang was akin to a nascent form of opening a realm. Impressive, preparing for opening a realm before reaching the 8th rank, and without any teacher's guidance, such limitless potential. Great Scholar Te murmured to himself. No wonder the goddess of wisdom guards him so closely. Great Scholar Te glanced around. He was well aware that, as a scholar like him, he was constantly under the surveillance of the goddess of wisdom, as much for protection as to prevent him from acting out. An evolver scholar going mad could have unpredictable consequences. Let's ask a few more questions. Interest piqued. It had been a long time since Great Scholar Te had encountered such an engaging junior. Following that, Great Scholar Te and Lin Yuan talked for over half an hour. This, Great Scholar Te watched in astonishment as, through his subtle guidance, even discussed other methods of opening a realm. Great Scholar Te clearly felt that the so-called methods of opening a realm were completely unknown to Lin Yuan, who didn't even know what the methods of opening a realm were. But as the conversation with Great Scholar Te deepened, Lin Yuan quickly grasped the understanding of several other opening a realm methods, terrifyingly improving. So much so that even he, an evolver scholar, was shocked. Is he pretending, or does he genuinely not know? Great Scholar Te was somewhat baffled. From Lin Yuan's tone while answering, Great Scholar Te was sure he was genuinely unaware and had never encountered the methods of opening a realm. Yet if he truly didn't know, how could his grasp of the principles of opening a realm advance so rapidly? He understood them after just a few hints? A genius, a peerless genius. Great Scholar Te immediately rose and paced back and forth. Has he logged off? Great Scholar Te discovered that Lin Yuan had suddenly disconnected from the virtual world. Kanglan Star, Central Continent Manor. His chat with Great Scholar Te had deeply impacted Lin Yuan, forcing him to disconnect and return to the real world to focus on the martial path evolutionary path. With Taiji governing 10,000 Daos. But what if it isn't Taiji? Can it still govern 10,000 Daos? Lin Yuan's mind burst with countless spiritual lights. You have against heaven's understanding, you analyze one Dao that controls all other Daos, and continue to refine the martial path evolutionary path. You have against heaven's understanding, you analyze one Dao that controls all other Daos, and continue to refine the martial path evolutionary path. You have against heaven's understanding, you analyze one Tao that controls all other Taos, and continue to refine the martial path evolutionary path. Lin Yuan fell into deep cultivation. He even blocked most of the external perceptions. Fortunately, Lin Yuan often did this, and his parents had basically gotten used to it. As long as Lin Yuan didn't come out, they wouldn't actively disturb him. Several days later, Lin Yuan opened his eyes. This period of seclusion had a significant impact on him, even causing him to start rethinking the foundations of martial Tao. That person, at least a high-rank evolver, is no weaker than my teacher, Lin Yuan thought to himself. Through just a few conversations, Lin Yuan had learned a great deal. While Lin Yuan continued to ponder, the alert from the smart assistant rang out. Master, you have a delivery. It's sent by Shuntong Group. It's S-level encrypted. A delivery? Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. But upon hearing Shuntong Group and S-level encryption, he was immediately shocked. Shuntong Group, the largest transportation group in the cosmic human civilization, its business scope is not limited to the human alliance. In the cosmic starry skies, human civilization dominates far and wide, encountering numerous enemies, but also many allies and affiliated races. Anywhere the human civilization can reach is within the transport range of Shuntong Group. As for reliability and secrecy, Shuntong Group is an officially endorsed group by human civilization, absolutely confidential and reliable. It is of the same echelon as the Central Galaxy Bank. Of course, Shuntong Group's fees are very high, starting from billions at the very least. The price for S-level encrypted delivery begins at 100 billion. As for how much exactly, it depends on the size of the item and whether it has other functions that affect the use. For instance, transporting a stone versus transporting a planet, the prices naturally differ. An S-level encrypted transport is among the high-level services of Shuntong Group, accompanied by 8 6th-rank evolvers and 1 7th-rank evolver as escorts. Their movements are kept completely confidential. Apart from Lin Yuan, the recipient, outsiders could not possibly know. When did I? Lin Yuan was somewhat hesitant. At that moment, Chikuan Star Lord suddenly sent a message. Ha ha ha, my dear disciple. The thing should have arrived, right? Is it from the teacher? Lin Yuan felt slightly reassured. If he had not figured out who it was from, Lin Yuan would most likely not accept it. But now, teacher, what is it that needs S-level encryption by Shuntong Group? Lin Yuan was a bit heartbroken. That's 100 billion civilization currency. You will know once you have it, Chikuan Star Lord said mysteriously. All right. Lin Yuan nodded. He immediately left the main building. He went outside to the manor. A man dressed in a black uniform was already waiting there. This man appeared very ordinary, no different from other delivery personnel. But Lin Yuan knew, to ensure that the item was delivered into the hands of the recipient, the last person to handle it was often the strongest in the transport team. Shuntong Group's S-level encryption required a 7th-rank evolver to accompany. That is to say, this man in a black uniform was a 7th-rank evolver. Sir. The man in the black uniform was slightly respectful. Being able to afford Shuntong Group's S-level encryption, his status even when surpassing 6th rank was extremely high. Hello. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. He then went through fingerprint, pupil, and soul wave authentication. After confirming that Lin Yuan was the recipient himself, the man in the black uniform handed over a regular black briefcase to Lin Yuan. Ha! The moment Lin Yuan received the briefcase, his expression subtly changed. Chapter 194 Martial Tao shouldn't be so trivial. Please subscribe. It's so heavy. Lin Yuan looked down at the black suitcase again. It was only 50 centimeters in length and width, but it weighed at least 10 tons. The handover is complete. Then I'll be taking my leave first. The man in the black uniform gave a slight smile. He turned and left, from start to finish. This was a seemingly ordinary delivery and receipt of goods. If Lin Yuan had not been forewarned, he wouldn't have thought more about it. What exactly did teacher send me? Lin Yuan carried the black suitcase back to the main building. The weight of 10 tons was naturally not a problem for Lin Yuan's current physical condition. Lin Yuan was surprised just now because he did not expect the black suitcase to weigh 10 tons. Let's open it and see. Lin Yuan returned to the underground training ground. Beep, he went through fingerprint, pupil, and soul wave authentication again. The black suitcase slowly opened. What came into view was a fist-sized black gold box. Lin Yuan could tell that the suitcase's whopping 10-ton weight was almost entirely due to this black gold box. Click. With all the previous verifications, Lin Yuan easily opened the black gold box this time. Lin Yuan saw that in the center of the black gold box lay a stone the size of a pinky fingernail. The stone was crimson. Looking at this stone, Lin Yuan felt as though he was observing a perpetual star. Lin Yuan closely observed the fingernail-sized stone. Every detail of it, the textures on its surface, the traces, all stirred a huge tidal wave in Lin Yuan's heart. This is the rule, the essence of the world's rules. Lin Yuan felt excited. If it were another evolver, they might not recognize what this stone was. Even some 6th-rank evolvers might not recognize it. But Lin Yuan was different. Having experienced the divine arms world, Lin Yuan was extremely sensitive to the essence rules of the world. This fingernail-sized stone was far from manifesting the essential rules outwardly. In the divine arms world, even the smallest piece of a divine weapon, the volume of rules essence it contained, far exceeded that of this stone. But this is the main world. A single hair from an elephant weighs infinitely more than an ant. Not to mention the difference between the main world and the divine arms world is more than that between an elephant and an ant. This stone, far from outwardly manifesting essential rules, barely even qualifies as an imprint, merely tainted with a bit of the essence of the rules. Yet to Lin Yuan it felt more significant than all the divine weapons in the divine arms world combined. Hotness, vastness, light, many essences manifested on this stone. With this stone as a reference for my enlightenment, it will be much easier for me to forge ahead on the martial path, evolutionary path, and break through to the 6th rank. It's like having a math problem that Lin Yuan could only solve slowly before, but now he has a plethora of related reference materials. Solving this problem will definitely be much easier. Even with all these supplementary materials, they are immensely helpful for Lin Yuan in solving the next problem and the ones after that. Teacher. Lin Yuan connected to the virtual world. He arrived at the palace of the Chikuan Star Lord. You're here. The Chikuan Star Lord looked at Lin Yuan with an expectant expression. Have you seen that thing? How do you feel about it? Teacher. Lin Yuan hesitated. It's too precious. I can't accept. Even though Lin Yuan was unclear about the value of items related to the rules in the main world, solely in transporting this stone, the Chikuan Star Lord had utilized the S-grade encryption of the $1 trillion Shuntong group. It was clear that its value was far beyond $1 trillion. It was even an invaluable treasure that money couldn't buy. You are my disciple. What can't you accept? The Chikuan Star Lord said nonchalantly. Besides, at my current level, items like this are of no use to me anyway. Rather than letting them waste away, it's better to use them. Thank you, teacher. Lin Yuan nodded. He also understood that the Chikuan Star Lord's words were merely to comfort him. Not needing them himself, they could have been sold or even traded for something he needed. How about it? What do you think of that stone? The Chikuan Star Lord continued to ask. It has inspired me greatly, Lin Yuan said earnestly. That's good. A smile appeared on the Chikuan Star Lord's face. Good disciple, if I were to forcefully guide you, it would only restrict and fix your path. That stone, a rule crystal, contains the essence that is a boundless great Tao. If you can fully comprehend the mysteries contained within the stone, surpassing the 6th rank should be no problem. The Chikuan Star Lord spoke. Returning from the Chikuan Star Lord's place, Lin Yuan's gaze once again fell on the fingernail-sized stone. It's so profound. Lin Yuan was almost addicted. The crimson stone, related to the Taiyang rule, Lin Yuan studied it carefully, able to continuously enhance his understanding of the Taiyang rule. Just like that, Lin Yuan devoted a significant portion of each day to reflecting on this stone. For the rest of his time, he continued perfecting the martial path evolutionary path and pondered how to break through to the 6th rank. Yes, Lin Yuan had long possessed the ability to break through to the 6th rank. But exactly where to start required careful consideration. Once he began the breakthrough to the 6th rank, his soul would actively align with his evolutionary path. This was crucial. If his soul achieved perfect alignment with his evolutionary path, he could step into the 6th rank. Advancing from 5th rank to 6th rank isn't an instantaneous or quick process. It takes time, quickly a few years, or slowly hundreds or thousands of years. Many 5th rank evolvers at their peak struggle with soul alignment, unable to step into the 6th rank for hundreds or even thousands of years. Chapter 195 Martial Tao shouldn't be so trivial. Please subscribe. _2. Virtual World. Kanglin Evolution Academy Large Classroom. Classes had not yet begun, but thousands of students had arrived early, taken their seats, and were waiting eagerly. Have you heard? The one lecturing us this time is Lin Yuan, the champion of the arena competition. Lin Yuan himself. Nonsense. Could I have come so early if I hadn't heard about it? That's Lin Yuan we're talking about. In the tens of thousands of years of Kanglin Star, he is the evolver with the strongest evolutionary talent who stepped into the 4th rank before the age of 100. Yeah, being a 2nd layer evolver before I'm 100 would satisfy me. You're thinking about 2nd layer? The thousands of students began to discuss softly. The students who could sit in this classroom were the most potential-filled students of Kanglin Evolution Academy and represented the future hope of Kanglin Star. At this moment, everyone was filled with anticipation, waiting for the arrival of the lecturer. Whoosh! Just then, a young man appeared on the podium. The next moment, the classroom fell completely silent. All students fixated their eyes on the young man. Hello, everyone. Lin Yuan casually greeted. As an honorary professor at Kanglin Evolution Academy, Lin Yuan enjoyed the many privileges and benefits of a professor's level, and although he was only an honorary professor, he still had to at least deliver 1 or 2 lectures. Half an hour later, Lin Yuan had finished citing the textbook material verbatim. He then began to ask the students about the problems they encountered on their evolutionary path. Mr. Lin. A girl with a ponytail raised her hand. You ask? Lin Yuan nodded. Thank you, Mr. Lin. The ponytailed girl was somewhat surprised. Many students had raised their hands simultaneously, yet Lin Yuan had chosen her. Mr. Lin, my development pathway is the martial path evolutionary path. The ponytailed girl volunteered her evolutionary path. This was quite normal, as every evolutionary path had distinct features, and revealing the specific path one was cultivating helped the teacher better frame the subsequent questions. Martial path, huh? Lin Yuan nodded slightly. Nowadays, the martial path evolutionary path had become the most popular evolutionary path on Kanglin Star. Of the thousands of students present, at least 1/10 were pursuing the martial path evolutionary path. Of course, these students had just started practicing, and the vast majority were not yet ranked. I see that later in the martial path evolutionary path, it requires the comprehension of both Tai-Yin and Tai-Yang forces, but I am naturally slow to sense these 2 kinds of power. Does this mean I'm not suited for the martial path? The ponytailed girl timidly asked. With this question, the other students instantly perked up their ears. They, too, wanted to know the answer to this question since Tai-Yin and Tai-Yang energies belong to the higher echelons of energy, not perceived by just anyone. Most evolvers were still more sensitive to the basic energies of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. This question, Lin Yuan looked around. If he had to answer, Lin Yuan could indeed provide one. That would be that everything possesses yin and yang, such as the thunder attributes, which also have distinctions of yin and yang, along with metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Even if you do not have the ability to comprehend Tai-Yin and Tai-Yang, you can still sense what you are capable of perceiving, such as the power of gold, and after comprehending the power of gold entirely, delve into its aspects of yin and yang, subsequently leading to Tai-Yin and Tai-Yang energies. However, this answer, though understandable to Lin Yuan and likely other 5th or 6th rank evolvers, most of the unranked evolver students present would not understand. Not only would they not understand, but they also wouldn't be able to achieve it. Given that, Lin Yuan didn't want to say it. I am also researching this problem. Once I have the results, I will definitely let you know. Lin Yuan spoke. All right. The ponytailed girl didn't find it strange. Although Lin Yuan's evolutionary talent was considered the best on Kanglin's star, compared to that mysterious scholar who had founded the Martial Path evolutionary path, he naturally fell short. It was perfectly normal for Lin Yuan not to know the answer to a question that even that mysterious scholar hadn't explained. After completing the lecture, Lin Yuan disconnected from the virtual world. Sitting cross-legged in the underground training field, the question from the ponytailed girl during the class had plunged Lin Yuan into deep thought. For a long time, Lin Yuan established the Martial Path evolutionary path. It was entirely based on his own perspective. First tier chapter. Second layer chapter. The Yin-Yang chapter in the second layer chapter. Third rank chapter, Taiyin rule, Taiyang rule. Fourth rank chapter. Fifth rank chapter, Taiyin primordial spirit, Taiyang divine spirit, Taiji primordial spirit. Everything was completely based on himself. But who was Lin Yuan? He possessed against heaven's understanding, could infer tenfold, 100-fold from one fact. Lin Yuan could understand, could realize, could absorb. Could others do the same? For instance, the Taiyin Taiyang Taiji, the content of the second layer chapter of the Martial Path evolutionary path. But wanting to grasp Taiji, let alone Taiji, even just Taiyin or Taiyang, was exceedingly difficult for others. In the Dragon Tiger world, those who had realized the Taiyang pole extreme and the Taiyin pole extreme were heavenly masters unmatched in hundreds to thousands of years. And they still needed the true martial sword to achieve this. The cultivation environment of the main world, although far superior to the Dragon Tiger world, did not provide many resources for the most ordinary citizens. From the second layer chapter onwards, martial arts are no longer applicable to ordinary citizens. Lin Yuan's expression remained calm, his thoughts churning. With the current Martial Path evolutionary path, the second layer chapter required realizing one of the Taiyin or Taiyang. If one couldn't realize it, it would be very difficult to advance further. One could foresee countless citizens would be trapped at this step. Lin Yuan slowly closed his eyes. Martial arts should not be so limited. At that moment, numerous insights surged up in his mind. Recently, in the Founder's virtual world, he conversed with that mysterious existence who had left behind posts from 23,000 years ago about controlling myriad things other than Taiji. The other myriad Dao techniques were quickly utilized by Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan started from the second layer chapter, reintegrating martial arts, and removed the restriction that progress required solely Taiyin or Taiyang. From now on, martial Dao cultivators were not confined to Taiyin or Taiyang alone. As long as one could sense it, powers like metal, wood, water, fire, earth, thunder, ice, and many others were all acceptable for continued cultivation. Starting from the second layer, one would determine a path that suits oneself, and by the fifth rank, condense out the corresponding attributes primordial spirit. The primordial spirits mentioned here are not only Yin God and Yang spirit, but also golden primordial spirit, water spirit, and wood spirit are possible, endless and infinite, inclusive of all things, just as Lin Yuan was perfecting the Martial Path evolutionary path. Boom! His soul suddenly began to vibrate intensely. Immediately his aura began to change, slowly transitioning towards the Martial Path evolutionary path. Didn't expect that. This is indeed the best way for me to break through to the sixth rank. Lin Yuan took a deep breath, perfecting the Martial Path evolutionary path, freeing it from the limitations of Taiyin and Taiyang, directly allowed Lin Yuan to seize the best opportunity to break through to the sixth rank. This opportunity many fifth-rank ultimate evolvers might not catch even in tens to hundreds of years. Even the previous Lin Yuan was hesitating about how to break through to the sixth rank. But now everything was very clear. This natural breakthrough was undoubtedly the most perfect path to stepping into the sixth rank. A month later, Lin Yuan emerged from seclusion. Breaking through from the fifth rank to the sixth rank wasn't something that could be achieved in a short time. It required the soul's slow transformation and transition. Rest for a while. Lin Yuan planned to balance work with rest. He was not like those evolvers who were nearing their lives' limit. At his current age, Lin Yuan was only 20 years old, with plenty of time to enjoy life. So many people looking for me? Lin Yuan opened the information panel and discovered that during his seclusion many people had visited him. But because he was in seclusion, they had been dealt with by his smart assistant. Yet still, 7 or 8 people insisted on meeting Lin Yuan. They were still waiting for him to come out. Let's meet them then. Lin Yuan clicked approve. Instantly there appeared a middle-aged man with golden hair in front of him. Puan Star Domain, Xiangwen Group. Zhou He greets Mr. Lin Yuan. The middle-aged man with golden hair slightly bowed and said respectfully, Xiangwen Group. Lin Yuan thought for a moment. He immediately recalled that this group was a rather famous one in the Puan Star Domain, with a 6th-rank Fallen Star warrior in its ranks. The Puan Star Domain was a star domain next to the Chikuan Star Domain, and due to its proximity, it had frequent trade interactions with many powers in the Chikuan Star Domain. Speak. What's the matter? Lin Yuan spoke casually. Our Xiangwen Group sincerely invites Mr. Lin Yuan to become a member of our next tournament's preparatory team. As long as Mr. Lin Yuan agrees, the conditions are up to you, the middle-aged man with golden hair said. You mean, let me join your group and then participate in the next tournament? Lin Yuan glanced at the middle-aged man with golden hair. Chapter 196. The Heiyu Family. Please subscribe. Indeed. With Mr. Lin's talent and ability, Kanglan Star was always too small. Just a middle-grade life planet. My Xiangwen Group has a 6th-rank Fallen Star warrior in residence. That's the stage truly suited for Mr. Lin Yuan. The blonde, middle-aged man, smiling, continued, Moreover, Lord Xiangwen holds Mr. Lin in high regard and might even personally offer some guidance in the future. Lord Xiangwen is the 6th-rank Fallen Star warrior behind the Xiangwen Group. The guidance of a 6th-rank evolver is a great opportunity for most evolvers. 6th-rank evolvers possess the power of fallen stars. From their high positions with a mere few casual tips, they could provoke sudden enlightenment in 4th or 5th-rank evolvers. The blonde middle-aged man believed that Lin Yuan would find it hard to ignore this condition. Lin Yuan indeed had great potential, having entered 4th rank before the age of 100, with a good chance to become a 5th-rank evolver in the future. But that was about it. Thinking of progressing further and breaking through to the 6th-rank level still seemed a remote hope. Therefore, the guidance of a 6th-rank evolver was certainly not to be missed. Sorry, I'm not interested in joining other factions. Lin Yuan shook his head and said, What a joke. According to the blonde middle-aged man, joining the Xiangwen Group would require signing numerous contracts. It even required Lin Yuan to personally go to the headquarters of the Xiangwen Group for scrutiny. And the conditions offered by the blonde middle-aged man, while attractive to ordinary 4th-rank evolvers, what about to Lin Yuan? Furthermore, Lin Yuan's true identity, the peak master of the Red Kuan lineage, was almost akin to the status of a prince in an empire, and not just any prince but one with real power. If he joined the Xiangwen Group, it would be akin to fighting in arena competitions for other star domains. How absurd is that? Mr. Lin, won't you reconsider? The blonde, middle-aged man's face slightly changed. Although the Xiangwen Group was not in the Chikuan Star Domain, it was still a major force with a 6th-rank Fallen Star warrior at its core. Even if Lin Yuan had other options and wouldn't join the Xiangwen Group, there was no need to outright say it. Mincing his words a bit would help save some face for everyone. As I said, I'm not interested, and I want reconsider. Lin Yuan shook his head. His primary goal now was to step into 6th rank as quickly as possible. All other matters unrelated to this breakthrough were just trivia. Okay. Lord Xiangwen would probably be quite disappointed to learn of this. The blonde, middle-aged man, his face turning a bit ugly, stood up intending to take his leave. What's the matter? Is your Lord Xiangwen going to come over here and teach me a lesson? Lin Yuan spoke. In the Cosmic Human Alliance, laws are robust. The more powerful the evolver, the greater the restrictions they face. Even those esteemed evolutionary scholars high above could not act wantonly, let alone a 6th rank. If that Lord Xiangwen dared come to Kanglan Star, revealing any intent to act against Lin Yuan would report him to the Goddess of Wisdom. Can't beat you? Couldn't I still report you? Of course, Lin Yuan felt it unlikely that Lord Xiangwen would come. It was even possible that Lord Xiangwen was not even aware of who Lin Yuan was. I hope Mr. Lin's path of evolution will always be smooth. The blond, middle-aged man's face was ashen, implicitly suggesting that Lin Yuan should not look to the Xiangwen group for help in the future. Get out! Lin Yuan directly kicked the blond, middle-aged man out of his personal room. Once Lin Yuan stepped into 6th rank, he could openly reveal his identity as the peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage. By then, forces like the Xiangwen group would be too eager to curry favor with Lin Yuan. Personal space. Lin Yuan sat alone on a wooden chair. Arena competitions. Lin Yuan pondered with a thoughtful expression. Arena competitions are one of the hottest, most attention-grabbing activities within the Human Civilization Alliance. And being hot and attention-grabbing means enormous traffic. This traffic leads to a series of industry chains involving massive amounts of money. Why would groups like the Xiangwen Group or other powerful financial oligarchies specially train teams to participate in various arena competitions? Could it really just be for honor or something like that? Of course not. If an evolver can advance to a certain rank in the arena competition like top 100 or top 10, they're sure to attract a lot of attention. At that time, just placing an advertisement or printing a logo of some group or oligarchy on their clothing could generate enormous popularity. And advertising is just the most common method of monetization. Each session of the arena competitions also features betting houses set up beforehand. Before the competition, you choose a competitor you think will win. If they do, you'll receive a significant sum of money in accordance with the odds. Of course, to ensure fairness, under the scrutiny of the Goddess of Wisdom, the possibility of fixed matches is nearly eliminated. It is for this reason that all major forces and financial oligarchies are very keen on finding potential evolvers from obscure middle-grade life planets and then supporting them to participate in star system and star domain level arena competitions. These evolvers from middle-grade life planets with low exposure and no systematic training, if they receive support from a major force, their strength can significantly improve in a short period of time. When the star domain level arena competitions begin, they will enter the arena as dark horses. After all, in the eyes of most citizens, a player who has already gained some fame and has completed 10 consecutive wins, 20 consecutive wins, battling against someone who has never been heard of before, most citizens would definitely bet on the former to win. Besides the two methods mentioned above. Chapter 197. The Heyu Family, please subscribe. _2 The tournament offers many ways to profit, and the most long-lasting is to build a fanbase and cultivate star evolvers. Within the Cosmic Human Alliance, the top star evolvers have countless fans, many of whom are second-generation members of powerful forces. The influence of their every action is astonishing. So, I've already qualified as a dark horse in the eyes of those corporate conglomerates? Lin Yuan stroked his chin, shaking his head slightly. Indeed, in the previous tournament, even though Lin Yuan only showed a portion of his strength, it was 4th rank. A 4th rank evolver under 100 years old might be somewhat common on prosperous higher-grade life planets. But on a middle-grade life planet like Kanglan Star, it might take tens or even hundreds of thousands of years for one to appear. The education, cultivation, and resources of middle-grade life planets are far inferior to those of higher-grade life planets. In such an environment, reaching 4th rank, whether it be by fortuitous encounter or luck, isn't much weaker than the top evolvers from higher-grade life planets. That's why Lin Yuan caught the eye of the Xiangwen group, who specially sent someone to invite him. The Goddess of Wisdom turns a blind eye to such things because the invitations from major forces and conglomerates might constrain the evolvers, but they also cultivate them, and, constrained by the laws of human civilization, the contracts these conglomerates sign with evolving geniuses aren't too excessive. Even in cases of breach, the penalty isn't exorbitant. Lin Yuan thought to himself. With gains come sacrifices, and this is the unwritten rule accepted by the Human Alliance. Seeking to take advantage of one's genius status, ignoring contracts and agreements, that would not be supported by the three goddesses. My current soul compatibility. Lin Yuan's consciousness returned to reality, and he began to feel more intently. Is probably about 80% complete. At this rate, it'll reach full compatibility in at most 2 years, enough to officially step into 6th rank. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. 6th rank holds a special significance for every evolver. Below 6th rank, no matter how powerful, lifeforms are still terrestrial and need the environment within a planet to survive. Once they leave the planet and come into the starry void, it becomes hard for them to continue living. But at 6th rank, one can roam the starry sea, and all 6th rank evolvers are thus called star lifeforms. Furthermore, 6th rank is a phase of qualitative change in strength. Why did Lin Yuan only need to cultivate to 6th rank to openly reveal his identity as the peak master of the Red Kuan lineage? Because evolvers at 6th rank are difficult to assassinate. At the very least, their means of ensuring their safety are far superior to those at 5th rank. Typically, unless absolutely necessary, different species wouldn't try to assassinate a 6th rank evolver, as the cost is too great, equivalent to the cost of cultivating dozens of 7th rank powerhouses. And that's still without any guarantee of killing the 6th rank evolver. The conversion speed of soul compatibility is unstable. It might be fast initially and slow down later on, or it could be slow at the beginning and speed up later. My current compatibility transformation is still normal. Lin Yuan continued his observation. But soul compatibility can be interrupted before reaching 1/10, allowing the choice of another evolution path. After stepping into 6th rank, the cost of changing evolution paths skyrockets. But Lin Yuan, strictly speaking, has not yet stepped into 6th rank, still being within 5th rank. Among the many evolution paths I've mastered, the most powerful is undoubtedly the Xianhuang evolutionary path. If I were to use this as the direction for soul transformation, Lin Yuan pondered for a moment before immediately dismissing the thought. Even if the Xianhuang evolutionary path is strong, it isn't created by Lin Yuan. Using it as the fundamental evolution path might seem beneficial in the short term, but over a longer timeline it might not be advantageous. Lin Yuan feels more confident in the martial path evolutionary path. The Xianhuang evolutionary path can be studied and even practiced concurrently, but it must not become the foundation. All other evolution paths, including the Xianhuang evolutionary path, can only serve as nourishment to perfect the martial path evolutionary path. Let's continue to perfect the martial path evolutionary path. Lin Yuan's mind sank back into the martial path evolutionary path. In Lin Yuan's latest vision, the martial path evolutionary path has transcended chapters like the Taiyin chapter, the Taiyang chapter, and the Yin-Yang chapter. Various attributes of power could all be integrated into the martial arts evolution system. Whichever attribute an evolver is good at, they can enter into martial Tao to cultivate. Martial Tao shouldn't be so meager, it should be infinitely expansive. Lin Yuan found that when perfecting the martial path evolutionary path in this direction, the speed of his soul's compatibility transformation would gain a certain increase. Next, while perfecting the martial arts evolution system, Lin Yuan examined the reddish stone sent by the Qikuan Star Lord. In his spare time, he refused the invitations from the financial conglomerates of various star domains. Aside from the Xiangguan group who noticed Lin Yuan's potential to become a dark horse, other powers took note as well. In the interstellar age, any slightly powerful force has its own think tank, tirelessly planning and taking actions that align with their interests based on information about human civilization and even different species. As a 4th rank under 100 years old from a middle-grade life planet, Lin Yuan, with great potential and a relatively low price tag, is extremely welcome. As for these forces' invitations. Chapter 198. The Heiyu family, please subscribe. _3 At first, Lin Yuan still managed to make time for a meeting. He clearly expressed his attitude. But in the end, the frequency was simply too high. Lin Yuan simply stopped meeting with them, leaving it to the intelligent assistant to cope. If it had been announced initially that I had passed the 7-star cave test. Lin Yuan slightly shook his head. If it were only like Fang Qing, merely passing the test and becoming an official member of the Red Kuan lineage, perhaps these powers wouldn't have invited him so insistently. After all, as an official member of the Red Kuan lineage, where is the sense in working for other powers? The Red Kuan lineage itself is the most powerful force. However, doing so would require Lin Yuan to take a spaceship battleship to the Qikuan main star with those like Fang Qing who had passed the test. This was the normal procedure for each batch joining the Red Kuan lineage. Lin Yuan was able to stay on Kanglan Star all this time, entirely because he was the peak master of Shursan, enjoying many privileges. Even the gift from the Chikuan Star Lord had to be delivered through the express efforts of the Shuntong group, costing hundreds of billions of civilization coins. On this day, Lin Yuan had just finished cultivating. The voice of the intelligent assistant then came through. Master, the person who is visiting this time comes from the Heiyu family, namely the subordinate of Heiyu Ao, who is the 3,821st son of Heiyu Mo. The Heiyu family? Lin Yuan's eyebrows slightly furrowed. The Heiyu family is a force within the Chikuan star domain, ranking within the top 5 among the many powers beside the Red Kuan lineage. The strongest of the Heiyu family, Heiyu Mo, is an existence that surpasses the 6th rank. The Heiyu family? Lin Yuan pondered for a while. Let's meet. He could ignore other powers and financial groups, partly because most of them are 6th rank forces, and Lin Yuan, on the path to becoming a 6th rank evolver, saw it only as a matter of time. Secondly, most invitations were from groups from outside the Chikuan star domain, with no need for excessive intimacy. But the Heiyu family was different. As a native force of the Chikuan star domain, when Lin Yuan would step into 6th rank and reveal his identity, he might have to interact with them. Whoosh! Lin Yuan connected his consciousness to the virtual world. His personal space. Lin Yuan agreed to enter. An old man dressed in a black suit, as elegant as a nobleman, appeared before him. Bei Zhao, on behalf of my young master Heiyu Ao, greets Mr. Lin Yuan. The old man in the black suit, Bei Zhao, had a very low posture, and his tone was slightly respectful. He then stated the terms for inviting Lin Yuan to join under Heiyu Ao. I'm not really interested in arena battles at the moment, sorry. Lin Yuan tried to soften his tone as he spoke. Is that so? The expression of the old man in the black suit, Bei Zhao, showed no change. After standing up to take his leave, he disappeared on the spot. Quite reasonable? Lin Yuan slightly nodded. The representatives of those powers who had invited him, upon being rejected, most would usually hint at or outright threaten him. Inside a splendid palace, Heiyu Ao was seated on the throne, deep in thought. At that moment, the figure of the old man in the black suit, Bei Zhao, appeared. Which tier of contract did that Lin Yuan choose? Heiyu Ao said casually. Before sending Bei Zhao to invite Lin Yuan, Heiyu Ao had set 5 tiers of contracts. The higher the tier of the contract, the more support for Lin Yuan and also the greater the restrictions. He left it to Lin Yuan to choose any tier he desired. Young master. The old man in the black suit, Bei Zhao, bowed slightly. Lin Yuan has declined the young master's invitation. The old man in the black suit said softly. He declined my invitation? On the throne, Heiyu Ao felt slightly taken aback. He looked down at the old man in the black suit, Bei Zhao. Chapter 199 Target. 6th rank. Please subscribe. Young master. I have made all the terms clear. But that Lin Yuan, he still refused. Says he's not interested in the competitive arena. Bei Zhao, the elderly man in black dress, immediately said. Is that so? Heiyu Ao rose from the throne, frowning slightly. He believed he had been more than generous, offering very high terms in all 5 tiers of the contract. Especially the lowest tier of the contract, which required only 100 years of Lin Yuan's service to Heiyu Ao, would enable him to receive ample resources for nurture. For a 4th rank or 5th rank evolver, 100 years is not a long time, and to serve Heiyu Ao, that is a blessing most ordinary evolvers could only dream of. Yet Lin Yuan had refused. This was an outcome Heiyu Ao had never expected. Heiyu Ao, exceeding 6th rank within the Heiyu family and a direct descendant of Heiyu Mo, didn't know how many evolvers would take the initiative to pledge loyalty to him. But Heiyu Ao didn't regard them highly. Now, having finally taken a liking to Lin Yuan, the latter didn't reciprocate the interest? What exactly is going on? Has the reputation of my Heiyu family fallen to such a degree? Heiyu Ao was somewhat vexed. Kanglan Star, Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan emerged from the underground training ground and called over Ho Ming, the captain of the guard troops. Greetings, Mr. Lin, 6th rank Evolver Ho Ming said respectfully. I want to ask you about something. Lin Yuan sat in his seat, lightly tapping the armrest with his right hand. That member of Heiyu Ao's forces had left directly after being refused by him, which piqued Lin Yuan's curiosity. Are you familiar with the Heiyu family? Lin Yuan looked at Ho Ming and inquired. The Heiyu family? Ho Ming was slightly stunned, then nodded, saying, I know them. One of the 5 major powers in the Chikuin star domain. The strongest force in the Chikuin star domain is undoubtedly the Red Kuin lineage, which the entire star domain was named after. Beneath the Red Kuin lineage there are 5 major powers, and the Heiyu family is one of them. When the Star Lord had not long taken over the star domain, Heiyu Mo brought his family, crossing several star domains, to settle in the Chikuin star domain. The Star Lord, acknowledging Heiyu Mo's plight, handed over some of the trade in the star domain to the Heiyu family, which paved the way for them to become one of the 5 major powers today. Ho Ming spoke rapidly. Although he was an evolver secretly cultivated by the Red Kuin lineage, he was not oblivious to the outside world. Moreover, having lived long enough, he was aware of some information that had ceased to be common knowledge. I see. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. He understood now. In summary, that Heiyu Mo was nothing more than the teacher's lapdog. Have you heard of Heiyu Ao? Lin Yuan continued to inquire. If he remembered correctly, the one who had invited him to join was Heiyu Ao. Heiyu Ao? Ho Ming thought for a moment and replied, Is he Heiyu Mo's youngest son? Heiyu Mo had thousands of descendants, and it was only due to the exceptional memory of evolvers that one could remember so many names. Especially the names of the Heiyu family, which sounded quite similar, were easy to confuse for outsiders. Right? Just now, he invited me to join his battle team to participate in the arena competition, Lin Yuan said, shaking his head. But I refused. That Heiyu Ao dares. Ho Ming clicked his tongue in amazement. For Lin Yuan was one of the 13 peak masters of the Red Kuin lineage. Even Heiyu Mo, the Ding Hai Divine Needle, would have to show respect upon meeting Lin Yuan. I guess it was Mr. Lin's performance in the arena that caught Heiyu Ao's eye, hence his initiative to invite. After pondering for a while, Ho Ming said with a hint of emotion, The Heiyu family is a massive force, but the competition is also fierce. As Heiyu Mo's youngest son, Heiyu Ao was born thousands or tens of thousands of years later than his brothers. Even with the family's support, it's hard for him to catch up to his brothers, so he set his sights on the arena competition. If he can support a dark horse into the top 100 of the star domain level competition, Heiyu Ao will undoubtedly earn a massive fortune. At that time, his position within the Heiyu family will rise along with his profits, and if he gains the favor of Heiyu Mo, inheriting the position of the family head of the Heiyu family might not be impossible. Ho Ming whispered. I see. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. Those major families and forces appeared glamorous on the surface, but in reality, the internal struggle was extremely severe. It was even to the extent of dying if one didn't advance. Unless Heiyu Ao completely gave up and didn't care about power or wealth, he would have to compete with his thousands of brothers. It wasn't only the Heiyu family. The competition within the Red Kuin lineage was also extremely ruthless, with numerous standards set amongst the official and core members. Failed to meet the standards? Then step aside and let someone who can meet them take your place. Lin Yuan felt less strongly about this because he started at the level of a peak master, immediately standing at the very top of the Red Kuin lineage. Most of the Red Kuin lineage's hereditary resources were open to Lin Yuan. His task wasn't to compete with other disciples, but simply to continue his cultivation. Of course, Lin Yuan's such treatment was also won through competition, millions of heirs competing in the 7-star cave world. Even though Lin Yuan's starting point wasn't the highest, and there were 3 individuals with red patterns above him, in the end, only Lin Yuan became one of the 13 peak masters. By the way, the outside world doesn't have a very good opinion of that Heiyu Ao, who will stop at nothing until he gets what he wants. Mr. Lin, since you've rejected his invitation, I'm afraid he won't let it go easily. Chapter 200 Goal. 6th rank, please subscribe, _2. If Heyu really goes too far, Mr. Lin can have the other Peak Masters step forward. Then Heyu wouldn't dare to disobey the Peak Master's orders. Homing reminded in a low voice. In front of the Red Kuan lineage, the Heyu family is subservient and humble, which isn't to say that the Heyu family isn't strong. Rather, it's because the Red Kuan lineage is too powerful, so the Heyu family can only act in this way. But without the Red Kuan lineage, the Heyu family would be the overlord overlooking a star domain, and of the 5 major forces, the other 4 wouldn't want to offend the Heyu family unless absolutely necessary. I understand. Lin Yuan nodded. Only, unless it's the last resort, Lin Yuan wouldn't ask his senior brothers to intervene. At the level of the Heyu family and the Peak Masters of the Red Kuan lineage, every action was watched by countless eyes. If Lin Yuan, hiding his true identity, was practicing on Kanglin's star and got involved in the vortex of the Peak Masters and the Heyu family, it could lead to certain beings deducing something. There are myriad evolution paths in the main world of the human alliance, among which is a type named divination. This type of evolution path can deduce conclusions from known information. The appointment of the 13 Peak Masters of the Red Kuan lineage just took place, and countless forces from outside are guessing the true identity of the 13th Peak Master. If at this time a Peak Master intervenes and suppresses the Heyu family, it would be a very obvious signal to those who are proficient in the divination-type evolution path. Even if the senior brothers were extremely secretive, if in the end Heyu inexplicably backed off, there would still be loose ends. Of course, those who evolved through this type of divination usually lack combat power and are mostly employed by the think tank of some major forces. Why exactly did Lin Yuan refuse me? Is it because the conditions I offered weren't high enough? On the throne, Heyu was still pondering. During this time, while he was recruiting other evolvers, he couldn't stop thinking about Lin Yuan. He couldn't help remembering when he left his family to venture outside. His own father, Heyu once gave him 2 choices. The first option was to take 10 trillion civilization coins from the family treasury. Afterward, the Heyu family wouldn't provide much support, and if he wanted to return to the family and run for the position of clan leader, he must turn these 10 trillion civilization coins into 100 billion cosmic coins. The conversion rate between civilization coins and cosmic coins is 10,000 to 1. Meaning, Heyu needed to earn 100-fold of 10 trillion civilization coins in wealth to qualify to return to the clan. The second option was to let the family's think tank plan out a complete business map for him. Heyu only needed to eventually make 10 trillion civilization coins to return to the family and compete for the position of clan leader. In the end, Heyu chose the second option. And the think tank of the Heyu family planned a business map for him, rooted in arena competitions. The business map was detailed, with the think tanks of the Heyu family painstakingly picking 223 evolvers under 100 years old. These 223 evolvers all have potential not discovered by ordinary people. As long as Heyu signs these 223 evolvers and trains them for future tournaments, they are very likely to shine. And among these 223 evolvers, Lin Yuan was listed. Lin Yuan, Heyu echoed the think tank's evaluation of Lin Yuan in his mind. Just over 20 years old, he stepped into 4th rank and is in the mid to late stage of the 4th rank. Trained and nurtured, Hell reached the pinnacle of the 4th rank before the next tournament, with hopes to step into the 5th rank before reaching 100 years old. With the strength of the 5th rank, participating in the star domain level arena competitions, it's quite easy to break into the top 1,000. Heyu must have this Lin Yuan. Heyu looked down at his subordinates and said, I've heard that geniuses are proud. You went to invite him and were rejected. But if I personally invite him, might I succeed, young master? Dressed in a black suit, the elder Bei Zhao was slightly stunned. I'm not sure, but if the young master personally invites him, that Lin Yuan would surely be very moved. With Heyu's status, personally inviting an evolver with no background and no power, the latter would indeed be moved. After all, a personal invitation signifies importance and gives face. Virtual world. A small world specially opened up. All 12 Peak Masters of the Red Kuan lineage had gathered here. At that moment, a figure appeared. It was Lin Yuan. My fellow seniors, my cultivation delayed me, and I lost track of time. Lin Yuan's tone was apologetic as he apologized immediately. Since becoming the 13th peak master of the Red Kuan lineage, to maintain the bond among the peak masters, the eldest senior brother took the initiative to invite the other peak masters to gather together from time to time. Since it is in the virtual world, it's very convenient. A connection of consciousness is enough, and everyone usually arrives on time. Ha ha ha, our little junior brother is truly remarkable. He's not yet 100 years old and has already reached the 5th rank. Stepping into the 6th rank is just a matter of time. The eldest senior brother laughed heartily. Lin Yuan's advancement to the 5th rank was no secret, known to the Chikuan Star Lord and all 12 senior brothers. Our junior brother doesn't possess any special physiques or bloodlines, so breaking through to the 5th rank before the age of 100 is truly rare. The second senior brother nodded in approval. Within the Cosmic Human Alliance, there indeed are many inconceivable geniuses. Not to mention 5th rankers under 100, even 6th rankers have appeared before. But these geniuses all have various physiques and bloodlines. Some are born at the 3rd or 4th rank, or even the 4th or 5th rank. Their starting points are so high that there is no need for comparison. But Lin Yuan is different. Even though the 12 peak masters had not seen Lin Yuan in person, they knew from what they heard from the Chikuan Star Lord that Lin Yuan's physique and bloodlines did not have anything special. Given the pace of our junior brother's cultivation, he could attempt breaking through to the 6th rank in at most a few decades. Before breaking through to the 6th rank, our junior brother must be careful to choose a fundamental evolution path. The more suitable it is for oneself, the higher the soul's resonance, and the faster the transformation. The eldest senior brother earnestly advised. It might even aid significantly in the breakthrough from the 6th rank to the 7th rank in the future. Lin Yuan was firm in his heart. The eldest senior brother had always emphasized choosing the evolution path that was most suitable for oneself to transform through soul resonance, not necessarily the strongest. And what evolution path could be more suitable for Lin Yuan than the martial path evolutionary path from among the vast array of evolution paths mastered by human civilization? Given our junior brother's speed of cultivation, it's very possible for him to break through to the 7th rank. By then, I don't know whether we should change how we address him. The 3rd senior brother glanced at the 4th senior brother and the other 9 senior brothers. The 4th senior brother blinked. If our junior brother can break through to the 7th rank, it will strengthen the foundation of our Red Kuan lineage. I would be willing to change the way I address him. Ha 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 ha. Old 3, stop teasing them. The 2nd senior brother shook his head. For a 6th rank evolver to break through to the 7th rank, they need a particular kind of opportunity. Even if Lin Yuan manages to break through to the 6th rank in a few decades, the step further into the 7th rank is not something easily achieved. Many extremity 6th rank evolvers remain stuck at this bottleneck for thousands or even tens of thousands of years until they die of old age. After an hour of conversation with his senior brothers, the gathering ended. Lin Yuan disconnected his consciousness from the virtual world and returned to reality. Central Continent Manor Underground Training Facility. Let's see the progress made during this period. Lin Yuan carefully sensed the degree of transformation of his soul. 20%? A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. At this rate, it would take less than 2 years, just over a year, for his soul to achieve perfect resonance. Then, he would step into the 6th rank, becoming a fallen star-level powerhouse that commands respect. Chapter 201, Mediocre Talent, Too Arrogant, Subscription Requested. 5th rank evolvers who want to step into the 6th rank, the most important prerequisite is that their soul compatibility with their fundamental evolution path must reach a state of perfection. Once soul compatibility reaches 10 out of 10, the subsequent breakthrough is naturally a matter of course. However, it's easier said than done. Finding an evolution path that suits oneself, how is that an easy task? Sometimes, what seems compatible in early training may suddenly seem incompatible when reaching the 4th or 5th rank. Not compatible anymore. And those evolution paths that seem full of obstacles in early training, leading evolvers to give up prematurely, may end up being compatible later on. The Cosmic Human Alliance and the 3 goddesses encourage citizens to initiate and develop new evolution paths, even tilting resources towards this endeavor. apart from a supremely secret, unspeakable reason. It is to provide numerous evolvers with more choices. If one evolution path does not suit, then switch to another and yet another. With more options, the number of 6th rank evolvers naturally increases, and once there's a sufficient base of 6th rankers, 7th and 8th rankers will continuously emerge. This creates a virtuous cycle. As for that supremely secret, unspeakable reason, it affects the top powerhouses not just of human civilization but of the entire main world universe starry sky. The Martial Tao evolution path is my own creation, highly compatible with my nature, so transforming soul compatibility, for other evolvers, is a huge problem. They might even waste hundreds or thousands of years on it. But for me, it's just a walk in the park. Lin Yuan exhaled lightly. If he had chosen the Xianhuang evolutionary path as his fundamental evolution path, the advancement of his soul compatibility would definitely not have matched what it was now. In fact, Lin Yuan was not suitable for the Xianhuang evolutionary path, and he was completely reliant on his against heaven's understanding to cheat his way through. But in soul compatibility metamorphosis, against heaven's understanding would be of little help. It goes without saying that had he chosen the Xianhuang evolutionary path, he wouldn't even have taken the first step by now. After finishing his training, Lin Yuan walked out of the main building and onto the estate's grassy field. His parents were leisurely basking in the sun there, despite the various entertainment activities available in the virtual world. Lin Shouqing and his wife still preferred reality, and only occasionally visited the virtual world for some fun. Oh! In the sky, a streak of light was flying swiftly. Lin Yuan didn't need to look to know it was his sister, Lin Yi. The evolution path that Lin Yi had chosen was the psychic evolution path. This evolution path was widely disseminated and did not pose difficult prerequisites to start training. One just needed higher mental strength than the average person. The psychic evolution path essentially develops an evolver's telekinetic power to interfere with reality. At the first and second layer, the attack mode of psychics is mostly physical. It involves using telekinesis to wield one or more weapons and then attacking the enemy. Similarly, psychics are among the few evolvers who can achieve alternative flight before reaching a higher rank. That is by controlling a weapon telekinetically, standing on it, and then flying with the weapon. Of course, this form of flight, whether in terms of speed or stability, falls far short of true flight. Let's see how the training goes in the future. Lin Yuan thought to himself. He did not allow Lin Yi to train in Martial Tao. No matter how much potential the Martial Tao evolution path held, it was not suitable for everyone. After exchanging a few words with his family, Lin Yuan returned to the underground training area in the main building. Just as Lin Yuan was about to continue refining the martial arts evolution system, the voice of the smart assistant suddenly came. Master, Mr. Ao from the Heyu family would like to see you. Heyu Ao? Lin Yuan sighed in his heart. After learning from Captain of the Guard Troops Ho Ming that Heyu Ao had a relentless personality, Lin Yuan realized that refusing the invitation from the elderly man in black, Bei Zhao, didn't mean the matter was over. Let's meet. After pondering for a while, Lin Yuan still thought it best to meet and clear things up. With a well-established legal system and the 3 goddesses ruling from above, as long as Lin Yuan didn't agree, Heyu Ao couldn't do anything to him. The virtual world. Personal space. Lin Yuan met Mr. Ao from the Heyu family. He was only 1.5 meters tall but had dark patterns on his skin, emitting an aura of nobility standing there. It's said that the Heyu family's bloodline is not purely human race but contains different species' bloodline. This phenomenon is quite common in human civilization. Procreating with powerful different species might give birth to a peerless genius. Younger brother Lin Yuan, Heyu Ao greeted warmly. To recruit Lin Yuan and continue with the business plan laid out by the Heyu family's think tank, Heyu Ao had lowered his stance as much as possible. He longed to return to his family, longed to sit on the throne of the patriarch second only to one. Mr. Ao. Lin Yuan nodded slightly. Both men took their seats. Heyu Ao didn't go straight to the point but instead diverted the topic. These years, I've often watched arena competition videos and realized that our human civilization truly has so many talents. Like in the dark spirit star domain, a peerless genius was born. awaking the dark elf bloodline and naturally feeling an extraordinary closeness to the laws of darkness. Such aptitude, casually cultivating any Dark Series evolutionary route, can easily transition from 5th to 6th rank during soul metamorphosis, and reaching the 7th rank in the future is also highly probable. TSK. Chapter 202. Mediocre talent, too arrogant, subscription requested. _2 Heyu Ao said with a smile. Indeed, there are too many geniuses in the universe. Lin Yuan nodded, deeply agreeing. After becoming the 13th Peak Master under the Chikuan Star Lord, Lin Yuan browsed through intelligence information from various regions of the universe. Given the vast population base, it was possible that incredibly monstrous geniuses could emerge. However, no matter how high their potential may be, geniuses are merely geniuses, not strong warriors. Every year, countless geniuses of human civilization are assassinated by different species. The more talented one is, the more they need to be patient and keep a low profile until they have achieved significant strength and stepped into the 6th rank. But no matter how talented, one still needs vast resources to support them. Otherwise, their talents can only go to waste. Heyu Ao looked at Lin Yuan. Right? Talent is important. Resources are very important as well. Lin Yuan nodded. Why has human civilization been able to produce one strong warrior after another? Isn't it because human civilization has always been in a state of expansion, constantly seizing a large number of resources from other species and then channeling them to their own strong warriors? Lin Yuan, my brother, you haven't joined any other forces yet. Have you? Are you interested in joining under my command? Having said that, Heyu Ao immediately added, Lin Yuan, my brother, don't be too quick to refuse. 80 years, all I ask is that you serve under me for 80 years. Heyu Ao spoke earnestly. After 80 years, you are free to leave at any time. And during these 80 years, you can enjoy numerous resources that will smooth your evolutionary path. Many evolutionary paths? You could view any of the evolutionary paths collected by the Heyu family, rare treasures of the universe, cosmic treasures, and countless evolution secret techniques. Lin Yuan, my brother, just say the word, and I will collect and purchase them for you. Heyu Ao sincerely looked at Lin Yuan. In reality, most of the conditions he mentioned were empty promises. The various evolution paths collected by the Heyu family? Even he had to pay a hefty price just to browse, let alone Lin Yuan, an outsider? But at this moment, Heyu Ao could no longer afford to care about these details. He had to secure Lin Yuan under his command first and talk about signing a contract. As for browsing the evolution paths of the Heyu family, he had not mentioned how long it would take, had he? And serving for 80 years, Heyu Ao had not lied. After 80 years, Lin Yuan would be over 100 years old, ineligible to participate in the arena competitions, and Heyu Ao wouldn't mind letting Lin Yuan go. Serve for 80 years? Lin Yuan's face was expressionless. After 80 years, he estimated he would have already stepped into the 7th rank. Would he serve a disciple of the Heyu family? I already suppressed them so much in the arena competition, yet Heyu Ao still values me this much and is so tenacious. Lin Yuan felt somewhat helpless. He knew that Heyu Ao and those powerful financial families invited him solely because of his performance in the arena competition. However, Heyu Ao might have realized that Lin Yuan had hidden some of his strength during the arena competition, which is why he valued him so highly and extended a personal invitation. Lin Yuan, my brother, what do you think? Heyu Ao looked at Lin Yuan expectantly. He believed he had done enough, not only making a personal invitation but also offering more generous conditions, and even reducing the service time to 80 years. Mr. Ao? Looking at Heyu Ao, Lin Yuan said, I'm not interested in the arena competition, Mr. Ao. There's no need for you to spend your efforts on that. Ah! Heyu Ao was somewhat befuddled. Rejected. Lin Yuan had actually rejected him. Even after Heyu Ao had shown so much sincerity, he was still refused? Heyu Ao fell silent. The previously enthusiastic expression quickly turned cold. Heyu Ao was never a warm person in the first place. Everything just now had been a facade to show how much he valued the situation. But since Lin Yuan had outright refused, there was naturally no need to continue the pretense. Lin Yuan, are you sure about your decision? Huao asked once more. I'm sure. Lin Yuan nodded. As the 13th peak master of the Red Kuan lineage, it was simply impossible for him to join the Heyu family, let alone Huao's command. Very well. Huao stood up. So much enthusiasm, so much attention, and it actually came in exchange for Lin Yuan's unhesitant rejection? This gave Huao the feeling of having his sincerity misplaced. In terms of importance, Lin Yuan was not the most important among the more than 200 evolvers under 100 years old in the think tank of the Heyu family. But he was the first to explicitly reject the invitation of Huao. Ordinary talent, too arrogant. Huao took a deep look at Lin Yuan, whispered these words, and then his figure disappeared into his personal space. Considering the level of the Heyu family, the talent of a 4th rank like Lin Yuan, who was under 100 years old, was not top-notch. Of course, it had nothing to do with ordinary talent. Nevertheless, Huao was annoyed and felt that Lin Yuan's arrogance was much heavier in comparison to his talent. He's still thoroughly offended. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. No wonder the little disciple that teacher took 10,000 years ago would eventually expose his identity on his own initiative. Actually, facing the last few threats from Huao just now, Lin Yuan also wanted to reveal his identity as the peak master of Shursan. Then, watching Huao panic and beg for mercy on his knees, even Humo, the 7th rank evolver of the Heyu family, would have to come and apologize. But if it came to that, the outcome of that little disciple teacher took 10,000 years ago might be what Lin Yuan would face afterwards. Detected by different species through subtle clues, then subjected to frenzied assassination attempts. I've been low-key enough. Lin Yuan rubbed his temples. From becoming an evolver to now reaching the extreme of 5th rank, Lin Yuan had never left Kanglan Star and had tried as much as possible to avoid causing trouble. Which normal 5th rank evolver has not traveled through half of the star domain or several star domains. Although 5th rank evolvers cannot survive in space, human civilization's technology is strong enough to allow them to traverse the stars aboard space battleships. Even many 6th rank evolvers' primary mode of travel is to board battleships. This is also the mainstream mode of transportation in current human civilization. But Lin Yuan hasn't even left the planet to this day. And yet, he was still sought out by Huao. If it were just an invitation from an ordinary financial power, it would have been just another rejection, but Huao came on behalf of the Heyu family, and the Heyu family is one of the 5 major forces in the Chikuan star domain. Actually, even if I reject Huao, it's highly unlikely that anything will happen. Huao, no matter how bold, probably wouldn't dare to make a move in reality. Lin Yuan silently thought to himself, the various laws and regulations of cosmic human civilization strictly forbid higher-rank evolvers from striking at other citizens without cause. If one violates this, severe punishment is assured. If Huao dared to strike at Lin Yuan in secret, he would have a hard time evading the investigation of the 3 goddesses afterward. Huao would pay a severe price if he didn't die, possibly implicating the Heyu family too. Just that one fears not the 10,000. But the what if? What if Huao really went crazy? Lin Yuan considered things very comprehensively. After realizing that he had thoroughly offended Huao, he began contacting his eldest senior brother. As for why not the teacher, should Lin Yuan have offended Humo, the 7th rank evolver of the Heyu family, he might have sought help from his teacher. But Huao? He's not worth the teacher's intervention. The Chikuan Star Lord, Lin Yuan's teacher, had already given him enough help. Lin Yuan did not want to trouble his teacher with such a small matter. Virtual world. Lin Yuan arrived in his eldest senior brother's personal space. The eldest senior brother was the earliest disciple taken by the Chikuan Star Lord. He was also the strongest disciple, stepping into 7th rank early on, and has always been a role model for the other peak masters to learn from. Little junior brother? Why do you have time to seek me out? The eldest senior brother spoke warmly, looking at Lin Yuan with joy radiating from his face. Having accompanied the Chikuan Star Lord for the longest time, he knew well how much the Star Lord valued Lin Yuan. To the eldest senior brother, it was a good thing that Lin Yuan took the initiative to find him, as it could strengthen the bond between brothers. Eldest senior brother, there is an issue for which I need your help. Lin Yuan started to speak. Chapter 203. The robust eldest apprentice brother. Subscribe please. Lin Yuan recounted the incident with Heyu Ao to his eldest senior brother. How dare that youngest son of Heyu Mo? The eldest senior brother shook his head. Even Heyu Mo himself had to be respectful in front of him, let alone his youngest son? Little junior brother, how do you want to resolve this issue? The eldest senior brother asked casually. For him, the matter was indeed not difficult, even extremely easy. The simplest way would be for him to personally contact Heyu Mo, to tell him to keep his youngest son in line. Given the eldest senior brother's status, a single word would be enough to shake the Heyu family, and it was likely that Heyu Ao would be captured by his family the next day, perhaps even bound and brought to Chikuin Main Star to apologize. The eldest senior brother understood Heyu Mo too well, very adept at weighing pros and cons, appraising situations. Of course, this method was not without its risks. That is, it might greatly expose Lin Yuan's true identity. If Lin Yuan chose this method, before contacting Heyu Mo, the eldest senior would suggest that Lin Yuan's true body go to Chikuin Main Star. Eldest senior brother, I still want to stay on Kanglan Star for a few more years, Lin Yuan said thoughtfully in a low voice. Before reaching the 6th rank, Lin Yuan wasn't keen on going to Chikuin Main Star. There were too many powerful beings there, even under the Chikuin Star Lord's very nose. Lin Yuan had quite a few secrets, such as the door to the myriad realms, such as the martial arts evolution system. Before the 6th rank, an evolver's soul had not yet fully bonded with a fundamental evolution path, and was prone to having their secrets perceived. Lin Yuan was not worried about the door to the myriad realms, since even the virtual world could not replicate it, and he estimated that the Chikuin Star Lord would not be able to detect the reality of the door to the myriad realms. But the martial path evolutionary path, right now Lin Yuan's soul was slowly aligning with the martial path evolutionary path, at a critical moment. If the powerful beings on Chikuin Main Star noticed something, it would be a significant risk. With the current potential of the martial path evolutionary path, the exposure of its creator's identity would be far more severe than if Lin Yuan were to reveal his identity as the peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage. Don't want to leave Kanglan Star? The eldest senior brother stroked his chin. This meant that he couldn't warn the Heyu family openly. I know what to do now. The eldest senior brother nodded and looking at Lin Yuan said, Don't worry, little junior brother. Just focus on your cultivation on Kanglan Star. That Heyu Ao will absolutely have no chance to make a move against you, and he will not be detected by those divination evolutionary path evolvers, capturing any information regarding little junior brother's true identity. The eldest senior brother's expression became slightly solemn. Divination evolutionary path evolvers, weak individually, wield considerable influence over the grand scheme of things. In the history of human civilization, there have been several top diviners who used the cosmic starry sky as a chessboard, and many peak clans as pawns, laying out their plans freely. It's just that top-level diviners are too rare, and the top diviners of human civilization are all stationed in the human central starfield light years away, planning for other clans. Then thank you very much, eldest senior brother, Lin Yuan said earnestly. For the eldest senior brother to agree to Lin Yuan's request without hesitation from his lofty position was indeed precious. Even other 7th rank evolvers may not necessarily get the eldest senior brother to do them a favor. Between brothers, what's there to thank? The eldest senior brother said nonchalantly. I'm waiting for you, my little junior brother, to step into the 6th rank and join me for a drink. At Kanglan Star, Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan opened his eyes, resolute in his heart. Although he was almost certain that Heyu Ao would not act rashly, he also had to consider the most extreme possibility. Getting the assurance from the eldest senior brother, Lin Yuan let out a sigh of relief. The 6th rank. As long as I can step into the 6th rank, my soul fully aligned with the martial path evolutionary path, others will not be able to discern which evolution path I am cultivating. Lin Yuan thought to himself. The sixth rank represented a qualitative transformation for Lin Yuan. This transformation related not only to strength but also to identity. As long as he stepped into the sixth rank, his ability to protect himself would greatly increase, and he could reveal his identity as the peak master of the 13th peak openly, appearing before everyone in his true form. No need to hide as he was now. In his personal space, Ao sat on the throne, his face dark. Young master. The elderly man dressed in a black suit named Bei Zhao appeared, bowing to Ao sitting on the throne above. That Lin Yuan, he refused me, Ao said, looking down at Bei Zhao. He refused even the young master's personal invitation? Bei Zhao's expression was one of astonishment. A personal invitation from a direct descendant of the Heyu family was a great honor. How could Lin Yuan dare to refuse? So, young master, what do you plan to do? The black-suited Bei Zhao inquired tentatively. What do I plan to do? What do you think I should do? Ao asked. It's just a genius from a backward middle-grade life planet. His refusal of the young master's invitation is his own loss. There's no need for the young master to concern himself with it. Just continue to recruit other evolvers, Bei Zhao tentatively said. He implied it was better to avoid unnecessary trouble and not waste time on such a person. No. He is no ordinary genius, Ao growled. Lin Yuan was one of the 223 evolvers singled out by the think tank of the Heyu family. They had the potential to shine in the star domain level tournament, earning vast wealth for Ao. Such a genius must be controlled by Ao himself. The young master must have Lin Yuan? Bei Zhao continued to inquire. Yes. Ao nodded. It's not difficult, just somewhat troublesome. Bei Zhao mused for a moment. Speak up. Ao's spirit rose. Since Lin Yuan is unwilling to join the young master's ranks, then force him to join, Bei Zhao stated. Chapter 204. The Steadfast Eldest Senior Brother. Please subscribe. _2. Coercion. Ao frowned. We can't violate the laws and regulations of the Alliance. The cost of violating the laws and regulations of the Alliance was enormous, and Ao would only consider doing so at a critical moment. For instance, when competing for the position of clan leader. To do it for Lin Yuan still wasn't worthwhile. Of course. Bei Zhao nodded. He too had never thought of violating the laws and regulations. The reason Lin Yuan is unwilling to join the young master's ranks is probably due to his feelings for Kanglan Star, his nostalgia for his homeworld. Bei Zhao began to speak. The homeworld indeed held a unique place in many evolvers' hearts. Powerful evolvers roamed the vast expanse of the universe, witnessing planets with diverse customs, but they only had one homeworld. Continue. Ao looked at Bei Zhao. Given that, we could start with Kanglan Star. Bei Zhao paused for a moment and then continued. If I remember correctly, the Heyu family has had quite a few trade dealings with Kanglan Star in past years. As one of the 5 major forces in the Chikuan Star domain, the Heyu family's extensive scale meant it had interstellar trade with most of the planets within the star domain. This was normal. Certain rare ores and scarce raw materials on Kanglan Star needed to go through the Heyu family's trade association to be quickly monetized. There were also various shopping channels that went through the Heyu family. You mean? Ao's eyes lit up. With the young master's status, he completely has the power to sever the family's trade with Kanglan Star. When that time comes, the young master can say that the family's refusal to trade with Kanglan Star is entirely due to that Lin Yuan's lack of appreciation. Bei Zhao smiled slightly. Unless something unexpected happens, Lin Yuan will inevitably endure the verbal and written condemnation of countless citizens of Kanglan Star, perhaps even become the sinner of the entire planet. By then, he will understand the young master's power and status, and will likely come over and submit of his own accord. Excellent, excellent. Ao's face showed a smile. Severing trade with Kanglan Star did not violate Alliance laws and regulations. After all, human civilization advocates free trade. If I don't want to trade with you, surely the 3 goddesses won't force us? This method might cost the young master some of his connections, as severing interstellar trade with Kanglan Star is a method that harms both sides. Bei Zhao cautiously inquired. Heiyuao was still in the stage of being tested by his family and had limited resources and means at his disposal. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. Heiyuao shook his head. Severing trade with Kanglan Star could simply involve selecting other planets, merely increasing the cost somewhat. As someone of noble status, Heiyuao certainly had that right. You may leave now. Heiyuao looked down at Bei Zhao. Yes. The elderly man named Bei Zhao, dressed in a black suit, vanished into the distance. Sitting on the throne, Heiyuao pondered for a while before starting to contact an elder. After a short while, a holographic screen appeared in front of Heiyuao. A man dressed in a loose coat looked at Heiyuao. Xiao, what do you need? The man in the loose coat asked indifferently. Second uncle. Heiyuao had already risen from his throne and bowed respectfully. Second uncle, I want to sever all trade between our family and Kanglan Star. Heiyuao stated his intention directly. Kanglan Star. The man in the loose coat pulled up information on the planet and furrowed his brow. It's just a middle-grade life planet. How did it offend you? Xiao, the man in the loose coat, a senior member of the Heiyu family, was in charge of all the family's trade in the Dawn Star system. With a word from him, severing trade with Kanglan Star was a simple matter. I wanted to recruit a genius evolver from Kanglan Star to participate in the Star Domain level arena battle for me, but he refused. Heiyuao said, just for that. The man in the loose overcoat furrowed his brows tightly. If it were merely about failing to recruit the desired person and thus resorting to using the power of the Heiyu family to oppress the other party, the man in the loose overcoat would be very disappointed with Heiyuao. Second uncle, this person is very important to me. Heiyuao gritted his teeth as he divulged the matters of the family's think tank. So it's a genius evolver selected by the think tank. The man in the loose overcoat's expression turned grave. Over tens of thousands of years, the Heiyu family's think tank had accrued innumerable merits, especially that chief of the think tank who had initially advised Heiyumo to move the entire clan to the Chikuan Star domain. That was what led to the present glory of the Heiyu family. Ill cut off trade with Kanglan Star. Little Ao, you must also try hard to show those in the clan. After speaking, the man in the loose overcoat ended the call with Heiyuao. Mr. Lin, since you've rejected that Heiyuao's recruitment, the other party will definitely take follow-up actions. It's highly likely that they will tamper with the interstellar trade of Kanglan Star. Within the main building of the manor, Captain of the Guard Troops Ho Ming analyzed. I think so too. Lin Yuan nodded. His parents and younger sister were all in the manor. The whole family was under the protection of Kanglan Star's planetary defense system, and coupled with the surveillance from the Goddess of Wisdom, Heiyuao simply couldn't find a place to threaten Lin Yuan. With the influence of the Heiyu family, all they could do was cut off trade with Kanglan Star, then transfer the pressure onto Lin Yuan. That Heiyuao thinks that, because I'm not accepting recruitment, I immensely value Kanglan Star and don't want to part with this place. Lin Yuan thought to himself, even if they cancel trade with Kanglan Star and blame everything on you, Mr. Lin, at most it would just cause other citizens of Kanglan Star to have some opinions. As long as Mr. Lin doesn't mind these, it will be of no consequence. The captain of the guard troops stole a glance at Lin Yuan. In fact, while he made it sound simple, when one actually becomes the center of endless public opinion, the person in the midst of it all might feel differently. I won't mind it. Lin Yuan shook his head as he spoke. Even when he was the most vilified demon of the 5 domains known as Xiahou Yuan during his 4th traversal, Lin Yuan didn't care, so why would he now? What we need to be cautious about now is, after Heiyuao cuts off trade with Kanglan Star and realizes that it doesn't affect you, Mr. Lin, whether they might make other extreme moves. A trace of worry appeared on Captain Ho Ming's face. People aren't AIs, they have emotions, desires, and thus impulsiveness too. Ho Ming was worried that Heiyuao, driven to desperation, might take reckless actions, no matter how unlikely that possibility. It doesn't matter. Lin Yuan's expression remained calm. He had already met the senior brother and informed him about Heiyuao's actions. The senior brother had also assured that nothing untoward would happen. I wonder what measures or methods the senior brother plans to use to defend against Heyu Ao. Suddenly, Lin Yuan felt a bit curious. The spaceship landing area of Kanglan Star. A bald, burly man stepped out. Wowu, is this Kanglan Star? The place where my junior brother grew up from childhood? The bald man took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and savored the moment. If my junior brother wants to cultivate quietly on Kanglan Star without being disturbed by that Heyu Ao, the most foolproof method is naturally for me to come over and personally sit in on Kanglan Star. With me on Kanglan Star, Heyu Mo himself wouldn't dare make a fuss. After leaving the spaceship landing area, the bald man casually found a place to stay. With his strength, a single thought was enough to envelop the entire Kanglan Star, and not even the planetary defense system detected his presence. This avatar of mine, recently refined, is unknown to the outside world. With my true body situated on Chikuan main star, those divination class evolvers unaware of this avatar can't possibly divine any useful information. The bald man gazed in the direction of the central mainland. He merely sensed the aura of the central mainland without probing deeper, so Lin Yuan wouldn't detect it. Just a few decades. As long as I can leave a good impression in my junior brother's heart, it's completely worth it. Now, the bald man even hoped that Heyu Ao would become more impulsive. At the very least, it would allow him to demonstrate his value and not make this trip in vain. Chapter 205. Double Protection. Please subscribe. Heyu Ao, you'd better exert yourself. Best send over a 6th rank evolver team for me to crush to death. Then I can openly step in and save my little junior brother from danger. With that, wouldn't he be utterly moved? Boo-hoo-hoo. Lazily leaning against a roadside chair, the bald man relished the thought in his mind. Given his status, he could naturally warn the Heyu family directly. But doing so would not fulfill his little junior brother's request to continue training on Kanglan Star for a few more years. A direct warning from a Red Kuan lineage Great Peak Master would certainly draw extensive scrutiny from powers within this star domain and the surrounding ones. For instance, what exactly happened that prompted a Great Peak Master of the Red Kuan lineage to personally step forward and warn the Heyu family? Turned out to be Heyu Mo's little son. Such an insignificant figure, why would he catch the attention of a Great Peak Master? Oh, it's because this little son is using the Heyu family's influence to suppress a talented evolver named Lin Yuan on Kanglan Star. A mere middle-grade life planet talent evolver. How could he draw the attention of a dignified Red Kuan lineage Great Peak Master? Once this conclusion is reached, it will definitely lead some to speculate whether Lin Yuan's true identity might be related to the 13th Peak Master of the Red Kuan lineage. Or even, could he actually be the 13th Peak Master? Of course, the above speculation might simply be one of many possibilities. However, as it concerns the mysterious 13th Peak Master, even a mere possibility or speculation, once known by different species, will not be overlooked. They would rather erroneously kill than allow the potential 13th Peak Master to rise. Of course, the bald man could also warn the Heyu family and Heyu Mo in secret. But if Heyu Ao makes an illogical reaction afterward, such as suddenly sparing Lin Yuan or suddenly being recalled to the Heyu family, it will still provoke reactions from the outside world. Those divination-class evolvers will deduce useful information from minor news reports. And furthermore, the bald man didn't fully trust the Heyu family. If he warned them in secret, external forces wouldn't know, but the Heyu family would definitely be aware, right? What if they started harboring other thoughts? Thus, for the bald man, the most secure method was to personally stay on Kanglan Star. As long as he was there, no matter what changes occurred outside, even if Kanglan Star collapsed and the nearby constellation system was destroyed, he was confident he could ensure his little junior brother would not suffer any harm. Although his current body was a recently consolidated avatar, it was not much weaker than his original self. And since he had never revealed it before, the outside world was also unaware of this avatar, using it to protect his little junior brother. Nor would some crafty divination-class evolvers notice anything. Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged in the underground training area. It's a pity. Since I uploaded the 5th rank chapter of the Martial Path Evolutionary Path, the Goddess of Wisdom took the initiative to unlock my information blockade and forged a normal growth trajectory. Lin Yuan sighed. A blockade of information is both a protection and a warning. If someone wanted to deal with Lin Yuan and then check the information, finding it blocked would undoubtedly make them cautious. But for a citizen under an information blockade, if their significance exceeds a certain limit, then the information blockade has the flavor of giving oneself away. Indeed, citizens under information blockade are not limited to founders of evolutionary paths. There are talents in evolution, culinary arts, science research, art domains, and so on. But today's martial arts evolutionaries, having the potential to advance to the 8th layer, means that Lin Yuan may become a new evolution scholar in the future. Such important talent, if still under information blockade, once people look into it, would certainly draw attention and become a bit risky. How to truly protect a talent? That is to make this talent indistinguishable from ordinary people. Even if others checked Lin Yuan's information, they would only see the information made up by the goddess of wisdom, thinking that Lin Yuan is just an ordinary 4th rank evolver with potential who may have a chance to step into the 5th rank in the future. Nothing more. As such, even if targeted, he wouldn't attract too much attention, not worth the different species paying a high price to assassinate. Of course, an evolver important enough for the goddess of wisdom to personally forge information would definitely be arranged for other protective measures. On the other side of Kanglin Star, a man of dwarfish stature was savoring gourmet food. This planet may be backward, but the food is not bad. The dwarfish man strolled casually, startling numerous young, beautiful female citizens who scurried away in fright. What's the matter? Never seen a member of the demonic mouse race before? The dwarfish man puffed out his round belly, utterly unconcerned. The demonic mouse race, one of the starbound ethnic groups that fully submitted to human civilization, had completely integrated into the human race over millions of years. However, they are still quite rare on some middle-grade life planets. The females on this planet really don't meet my standards, not nearly as adorable as those little potatoes from the demonic mouse race. After walking a bit, the dwarfish man stopped and glanced in the direction of the central mainland from afar. The goddess of wisdom has gone to great lengths to protect that person, forcibly transferring me from the border battlefield to carry out a secret mission, coming to this planet incognito as a bodyguard. The dwarfish man sighed. He, a 7th rank peak existence, even on the border battlefield, could revel in slaughter truly imposing. But now, he had to roam aimlessly on a middle-grade life planet. Chapter 206. Double Protection. Please subscribe, _2. However, the more it happens, the more it proves the importance of that person. The goddess would not do something meaningless, nor would she waste alliance resources. The dwarf thought to himself, the task assigned by the goddess is to protect that talented evolver named Lin Yuan until the 6th rank. The dwarf had also looked up information about Lin Yuan. Of course, the information he found had been disguised by the goddess of wisdom. Only some superficial information was available. This Lin Yuan, currently at the 4th rank, certainly has some talent and might step into the 5th rank, but the 6th rank. The dwarf felt he might need to stay on this planet for several hundred years. Just treat it as a rest. The dwarf decided not to think further. Half a month later, the Heiyu family gradually severed its trade with Kanglin Star. Suddenly, many corporate groups on Kanglin Star plunged into panic. These groups, all relying on trade with the Heiyu family for profit, found it unnerving that the Heiyu family would rather breach the contract and pay the penalty than continue relations with Kanglin Star. This naturally left these corporate groups somewhat frightened. What exactly is going on? Weren't we cooperating well before? Our group develops rare metals that only the Heiyu family can afford. If they leave, who do I partner with? The business circles of Kanglin Star were suddenly in an uproar, discussing animatedly. Mr. Heiyu-song, why would you want to sever trade with us on Kanglin Star? A director of one of the groups contacted a member of the Heiyu family responsible for trade with Kanglin Star. If only 1 or 2 companies stopped cooperation, it might be an emergency situation, but now all Heiyu family business concerning Kanglin Star had been halted. Clearly, some higher-up was targeting Kanglin Star. Don't know? Your own actions on Kanglin Star, and you still don't know? Heiyu-song, with a proud expression and frowning, asked. I really don't know. The corporate director looked helpless. Please enlighten me, sir. Maybe there's still a chance for remediation? Is there an evolver on your planet named Lin Yuan? He Tsang spoke assertively. This Lin Yuan dared to reject Mr. Ao's invitation. Our Mr. Ao was so sincere, offering such favorable conditions, yet he was rejected. Is he looking down on the Heyu family? Your Kanglan star has brought up such a citizen, so there's no need for the Heyu family to continue cooperation with you. Having said that, Heyu Tsang immediately cut off the communication. Lin Yuan. The corporate director felt a chill in his heart, obviously aware of who Lin Yuan was, the champion of the last combat tournament, a prominent figure on Kanglan Star. But now, Lin Yuan had somehow offended the colossal Heyu family? Lin Yuan was aware of the changes in public opinion on Kanglan Star. This Heyu Ao is indeed using trade to pressure Kanglan Star, shifting all the public opinion pressure onto me. Lin Yuan browsed through the virtual world, thinking to himself. Now on Kanglan Star, the trend in public opinion had already started to blame Lin Yuan. Blaming Lin Yuan for why he rejected Mr. Ao's invitation? Blaming Lin Yuan for why he implicated Kanglan Star? Blaming Lin Yuan for why he still hasn't apologized to Heyu Ao? All the weights of these speeches fell upon Lin Yuan's shoulders. The world's disdain, the pointing of 1,000 fingers. These were not enough to describe it. Does Heyu Ao think that because I am young and lack experience, I cannot withstand the public opinion pressure from billions of people, ending up begging for his mercy? A trace of derision appeared on Lin Yuan's face. In fact, an ordinary person, even a fourth-rank evolver, might indeed not be able to withstand this immense pressure. But Lin Yuan was no ordinary person. Having experienced 4 passages through time and the passage of 700 to 800 years, if Lin Yuan couldn't bear this much pressure, then those passages would have been in vain. Breaking the situation is rather simple. Just use the influence of the Red Kuan lineage. However, doing so would mean I'd have to head to the Chikuan main star earlier, and the secrets of the martial path evolutionary path might also be exposed. Lin Yuan's face was calm as his thoughts flowed. Besides, the best tactic was naturally to ignore the external pressures. Just by advancing to the 6th rank, all his troubles and dilemmas would naturally resolve themselves. Song Lan Star Virtual World. Governor Song Wuyang took the lead to discuss with the directors of many current groups a strategy concerning the severed trade ties with the Heyu family. Let's talk. What's the situation now? Governor Song Wuyang sat in the chief seat, looking at everyone participating in the meeting. Governor Song, the Heyu group has voluntarily cut off contact. Although they've compensated us with the standard breach of contract fee as per the agreement, this fee can only solve our problems temporarily. The most important matter now is to find new trade partners. However, the influence of the Heyu family is too vast. They would rather pay the breach of contract fee than maintain their relationship with Kanglan Star, which discourages other powers from getting close to us. The Heyu family has abandoned the trading planet. Other powers taking over, is that a declaration of hostility toward the Heyu family? It is exactly this concern that even if the group powers on Kanglan Star offered the lowest prices and gave up most of their profits, no one would come forward to take over. In the Chikuan Star domain, the Heyu family is one of the 5 major colossal powers, even showing a trend of rising above the other 4 great powers. What worries me is that as time passes, other powers trading with our Kanglan Star will gradually withdraw as well. An elder spoke up, expressing his concerns. When the walls fall, the masses push. This saying remains true through the ages. Once this scene truly unfolds, if Kanglan Star's trade channels are completely blocked, it might potentially fall to the status of a low-grade life planet. I understand. What are your proposed solutions? Governor Song Wuyang sighed softly and continued. The simplest solution would naturally be for Lin Yuan to actively apologize to Mr. Ao of Heyu, a participant said in a low voice. As soon as he spoke, everyone else immediately nodded. Only if Lin Yuan submits to Mr. Ao of Heyu will the crisis of Kanglan Star naturally cease to exist, and trade with the Heyu family will also be restored. If Mr. Lin is unwilling, what can I use to force him? Discuss other methods. Governor Song Wuyang shook his head. This method was indeed the simplest, yet it was the most difficult. Lin Yuan, being a fourth-rank evolver and a champion of the arena contest, was a genius. If pushed too hard, he might just emigrate to another planet. Wouldn't Kanglan Star then suffer both a loss of a talent and its troops? Another method would be to continue looking for new trade partners. In the Chikuan Star domain, there certainly exist powers not intimidated by the Heiyu family. Someone sighed. This method, however, how easy could it be? Our trade partners just found that easily? And now that Kanglan Star has been blacklisted by the Heiyu family, convincing other powers to cooperate, risking offending the Heiyu family, will definitely require substantial sacrifices. Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, glancing outside the main building. Although he was unaffected by public opinion, his parents and Lin Yi evidently felt somewhat despondent, probably having seen the online comments targeting Lin Yuan. Cutting off someone's financial road is like killing their parents. Even if Lin Yuan is a fourth-rank evolver, even if Lin Yuan is an arena contest champion, there are still people who dare to curse Lin Yuan online. Of course, that's limited to the internet. So far, Lin Yuan had not encountered unidentified citizens near the manor. Given Lin Yuan's strength and status, they only dare to curse online. Real-life confrontation against a fourth-rank talented evolver? That would require the strength of a fifth-rank evolver at least. And a fifth-rank evolver would not likely offend Lin Yuan over this matter. Just wait a little longer. Lin Yuan closed his eyes. As long as he reached the sixth rank, everything would be over. Just as Lin Yuan was about to seclude himself, his intelligent assistant suddenly alerted him. Master, someone is looking for you. Who? Lin Yuan raised an eyebrow. It's Fang Qing. Virtual world. Personal space. Lin Yuan's figure appeared. He immediately clicked the accept request button. Shortly after, Fang Qing appeared in front of him. But even before Fang Qing's figure had fully crystallized, curses already filled the air. That damned Heiyu. How dare he take advantage of my absence to oppress Kanglan Star? Who gave him the courage to do this? Chapter 207. The door to the Myriad Realms energy storage completed. Fifth time travel? Please subscribe. Personal space. Fang Qing cursed and swore continuously. His words were filled with disdain and contempt for Heiyu. He had used his family's power to pressure Lin Yuan, an evolver, even involving the whole Kanglan Star to force Lin Yuan into submission. In Fang Qing's view, this was beneath his dignity and was a disgrace to the Heiyu family. Lin Yuan, rest assured, I've roughly got the gist of the matter. Fang Qing looked at Lin Yuan and began to speak. Since passing the test of the seven-star cave, Fang Qing had taken a spacecraft from the Red Kuan lineage to the Chikuan main star. Once there, Fang Qing had a lot to do, and his interaction with Lin Yuan had decreased. After all, joining the Red Kuan lineage didn't mean total peace and comfort. As a member of the Red Kuan lineage, Fang Qing had to face various competitions, leaving him with little spare time. I indeed do not want to become a subordinate of Heiyu. Lin Yuan shook his head and said, I know. Fang Qing nodded. Leave this matter to me. Fang Qing spoke with confidence. He was now a member of the Red Kuan lineage, and the Red Kuan lineage was the undisputed dominion of the Chikuan Star domain. Any evolver even slightly associated with the Red Kuan lineage was set to soar to great heights. How much more so for Fang Qing, a formal member of the Red Kuan lineage. Well, start with diplomacy and, if necessary, move to force. Let's talk after meeting Heiyu. Fang Qing said calmly. If, by his intervention, Heiyu could be persuaded to stop targeting Kanglan Star, then all would be well and good. If Heiyu was unwilling, Fang Qing had ways to resolve the issue. Thanks. Lin Yuan expressed his gratitude with slight emotion. Facing the oppression of the Heiyu family, Lin Yuan remained fearless because he knew his true trump card. But Fang Qing was unaware of it. Despite the overwhelming public pressure on Kanglan Star at present, Fang Qing still resolutely stood on his side, which could certainly be considered loyal. Next, in front of Lin Yuan, Fang Qing dialed Heiyu's contact. After a short while, the figure of Heiyu appeared before Fang Qing. Brother Fang, Long time no see. Heiyueo looked at Fang Qing with a smile on his face. In this session of the 7-star cave trials, only a little over 300 evolvers passed, and the Heiyu family, being part of the Red Kuan lineage, naturally remembered these 300 clearly. Even during the recent celebration by the 13 Peak Masters, Fang Qing and the other new members of the Red Kuan lineage had interacted with the Heiyu family and other powers, where Heiyueo had exchanged a few words with Fang Qing. Heiyueo, let's skip the pointless chatter. Fang Qing got straight to the point. Do you know where I come from? What do you mean, Brother Fang? The smile quickly disappeared from Heiyueo's face. He obviously knew that Fang Qing came from Kanglan Star. But so what? He's only targeting Lin Yuan. All Lin Yuan has to do is bow his head to him, and the pressure on Kanglan Star will stop. In the grand scheme, Kanglan Star might lose some economy, but it wouldn't harm the overall situation. Lin Yuan is my best friend and brother. Kanglan Star is also my home planet. Withdraw your petty schemes. Fang Qing started talking. Oh, Heiyueo's expression remained unchanged. What schemes? I have no idea what you're talking about. Still pretending? Fang Qing scoffed. You instructed the Heiyu family's high levels to interrupt trade with Kanglan Star, and spread that all of this is because Lin Yuan did not accept your offer. Do you really think I can't see through such tricks? Brother Fang, you've misunderstood. Interrupting trade with Kanglan Star was the family leadership's decision. They think it's inappropriate to continue cooperation with Kanglan Star. What does that have to do with me? Heiyueo vehemently denied responsibility. No matter what, he could not leave any evidence. Fang Qing was from the Red Kuan lineage, and even as just an ordinary member, he didn't want to get into a direct conflict with him. After all, interrupting trade with Kanglan Star was legal and legitimate. Even the goddess of wisdom could not find fault with it, so Fang Qing could not get a hold of any leverage over him. Heiyueo, are you sure you want to be my enemy? Fang Qing stared at Heiyueo, asserting each word distinctly. Brother Fang, what's this about being enemies? I don't have that kind of power. Heiyueo shook his head as he spoke. Fine. Fang Qing immediately ended the call with Heiyueo. This Heiyueo, he's completely unyielding. Fang Qing rolled his eyes. It seems Lin Yuan's charm is indeed too great, making Heiyueo risk offending the Red Kuan lineage rather than conceding. But it's not a big problem. Fang Qing stood up, looked at Lin Yuan and said, Lin Yuan, just wait for my good news. Having said that, Fang Qing disappeared from the spot. As Lin Yuan watched Fang Qing leave, he fell into deep thought. He had somewhat neglected Fang Qing's presence. It could be said that any person from the Red Kuan lineage intervening to help Lin Yuan deal with the Heiyu family's oppression would draw the attention of many powers, putting Lin Yuan at risk of having his identity exposed. But Fang Qing was an exception. Because Fang Qing also was from Kanglan Star and had participated in tournaments with Lin Yuan, the two had a considerable connection. Now that Lin Yuan was being targeted by the Heiyu family, and Fang Qing had joined the Red Kuan lineage and possessed the capability to solve the issue, his help would not raise suspicions. Even the most skilled diviners would not deduce anything, finding it entirely normal and reasonable. Within a magnificent palace, Heiyueo sat on the throne. Young master, to show such disregard for Fang Qing's position, might it not be? Bei Zhao, having witnessed the entire process, showed a look of worry on his face. Don't worry. That Fang Qing is just an ordinary member of the Red Kuan lineage. He can't represent the entire Red Kuan lineage. Heiyueo shook his head and said, and I didn't confront him directly. There's no telling evidence. What can they do to me? If it were a core member of the Red Kuan lineage, Heiyueo would perhaps have to swallow his pride and yield, but a mere ordinary member? Especially one who had recently joined the Red Kuan lineage. Chapter 208, Door to the Myriad Realms Energy Storage Complete. Fifth Traverse? Seeking Subscriptions, _2. Heiyueo didn't think there would be any hidden dangers, as long as he could successfully return to his family and take the Patriarch's throne. Then everything would be worth it. Chikuan Prime Virtual World. Within a temporarily established manor world. Fang Qing, along with over 300 other silhouettes, sat before a huge round table. These 300-plus silhouettes were all evolvers who joined the Red Kuan lineage with Fangqing. They were the ones who passed the tests of the 7-star cave. In the Red Kuan lineage, with the 13 peak masters high above, the backgrounds of the members below varied greatly. Hence, members who joined in the same batch often had a closer relationship. After all, they were from the same class. Fangqing, since you've called us here, get to the point. Indeed, with our relation, we speak frankly. Before the round table, one evolver after another spoke up. But the majority remained silent, not taking a stance. Among them were the silver-haired woman Yin Ling, a male member of the Tri-Eye clan, and the nearly 3-meter-tall strong man. As the earners of the red patterns in the 7-star cave test, even after joining the Red Kuan lineage, these three held a not insignificant status. They had been invited purely based on the face of having joined the Red Kuan lineage in the same batch. Everyone. Fangqing looked at the crowd and said solemnly, "My home, Kanglan Star, is currently being suppressed by the Heiyu family. They interrupted trade with Kanglan Star and implemented despicable economic sanctions. I implore you all to persuade the forces behind you to trade with Kanglan Star." Fangqing spoke earnestly. The worst impact of the Heiyu family cutting off trade with Kanglan Star wasn't the loss of the Heiyu family as a partner. It was a series of subsequent negative effects. Other forces, upon seeing the Heiyu family pulling out, might follow suit. To stem this tide, the only way was to swiftly rebuild trading channels with other powers. The other powers mentioned here, first and foremost, must not be afraid of the Heiyu family. Only with the restabilization of trading relations could Lin Yuan be taken out of the center of public opinion. Many evolvers here were formal members of the Red Kuan lineage, and the forces behind them naturally didn't care much for the Heiyu family. So that's the situation. The despicable Heiyu family. Using their size as a weapon, they bully the weak everywhere. Brother Fangqing, it'll definitely help you with this. Before the round table, many evolvers shared a common enemy and readily pounded their chests in promise. Of course, the reason these evolvers said so was completely because of Fangqing's face. By agreeing to help Fangqing at this moment, it meant that he owed them a favor, and in the future, Fangqing would have to help them as best as he could. Kanglan Star. At this time, the male member of the Tri-Eye clan spoke up. "If my memory serves me right, wasn't this whole issue caused by Heiyu Ao of the Heiyu family trying to recruit Lin Yuan, who refused, resulting in these events? Fangqing, you just need to wait for a while. As soon as Lin Yuan bows his head on his own, the trade sanctions against Kanglan Star will disappear. Are you sure you want to use so many favors just to help your friend?" The male member of the Tri-Eye clan looked at Fangqing with interest. The other evolvers at the round table also turned their attention to Fangqing. They didn't care if the Heiyu family bullied the weak. The reason so many evolvers went along with what Fangqing said was entirely for the sake of a favor. After all, this incident wasn't much for them, just the addition of a trade route. Under the gaze of everyone, Fangqing's eyebrows furrowed slightly. In his mind, he couldn't help but recall the advice of his old teacher, the white-bearded old man, when he first heard about the plight of Kanglan Star. Help, you must help. Even if it leads to bankruptcy, you must help. The white-bearded old man understood the whole story and couldn't help but roar. Ha! Fangqing was taken aback. He had thought about helping, and had even started to think of an escape route for Lin Yuan. But to see the white-bearded old man so excited, he was somewhat puzzled. Fool! The white-bearded old man glanced at Fangqing. Tell me, if you hadn't joined the Red Kuan lineage, facing the recruitment by Heiyu Ao, would you have accepted? The white-bearded old man asked in return. I should probably have accepted. Fangqing thought it over carefully and nodded. Not having joined the Red Kuan lineage meant that he had no backing. Facing such a colossal entity like the Heiyu family, there was no way to resist or refuse. Unless he spent his life staying on his planet and never venturing out, the moment he left to explore or travel, he would have to watch out for the Heiyu family taking action against him. Then you tell me, is your brother Lin stupid? The white-bearded old man continued to question. Lin Yuan is, of course, not stupid, Fang Qing said without hesitation. What do you mean? Fang Qing suddenly realized. If Lin Yuan isn't stupid, yet he made a decision that seems foolish, what do you think is the reason? The bearded old man led the way. Lin Yuan has other trump cards up his sleeve. He doesn't take the Heyu family, no, Heyu seriously, Fang Qing said excitedly. At least you have some brains. The bearded old man said contentedly. By helping your brother Lin now, you are providing timely help, do you understand? I'm certain. At the round table, Fang Qing looked at the many evolvers and nodded as he spoke. Anyone who helps me today, I will promise a favor in return. If there's any issue in the future, just come to me directly. Humph. Seeing this, a Tri-Eye clan man snorted coldly and immediately disappeared. He was too lazy to get involved in these trivial matters, and he valued Fang Qing's promise of a favor even less. However, aside from the Tri-Eye clan man and a few others, the majority of evolvers still gave Fang Qing face. Even the silver-haired woman Yin Ling promised to have a word with the force behind her. After all, this matter was of no difficulty to them and helping out wouldn't cost them much. Virtual world, private space. Heyu Ao's expression was gloomy. Damn it! Heyu Ao's eyes narrowed. I didn't expect that Fang Qing would willingly owe so many favors for Lin Yuan and ask so many fellow students to establish trade relationships with Kanglin Star. Heyu Ao felt somewhat helpless. He originally thought that Fang Qing was just playing around, putting on a show for Lin Yuan. But he didn't expect Fang Qing to genuinely stand up for Lin Yuan and pay such a high price. And the Red Kuan lineage, are they really that united to oppose the Heyu family along with Fang Qing? Heyu Ao's face became even more sullen. Young master, what should we do now? Below in the Great Hall, Bei Zhao tentatively asked. What to do? What else can we do? Do I dare to go against the great Red Kuan lineage? Heyu Ao waved his hand. If I dare to do that, I would be forcibly taken back by the family. Playing dumb in front of Fang Qing was one thing, which didn't lead to serious consequences, nor did it have much to do with the Red Kuan lineage. But now, if he dared to meddle further, he would truly become an enemy of the Red Kuan lineage. With so many formal members of the Red Kuan lineage stepping forward, Heyu Ao naturally knew what to do. Time passed by. In the blink of an eye, more than half a year had passed. Central Continent Manor. Lin Yuan finished his cultivation and glanced at the internet. The influence of the Heyu family has essentially been eradicated. Lin Yuan stepped out of the underground training field. In the past half year, as many members of the Red Kuan lineage had come forward and persuaded their respective forces to establish trade with Kanglin Star, the influence of the Heyu family naturally dwindled. As for the curses against Lin Yuan on the internet, they had long since faded into oblivion. It was as if the entire event had never happened. This is human nature? Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. He wasn't bothered by it, but his parents' and sister's mood had obviously improved significantly recently. Half a year's time, soul compatibility. Lin Yuan slightly closed his eyes, beginning to sense the level of his soul compatibility. Half a year ago, his soul compatibility had reached 20%. Now, after 7 to 8 months of continuous refinement of the martial path evolutionary path, Lin Yuan was beginning to feel that his soul compatibility was about to reach perfection. 85%. Lin Yuan opened his eyes, a smile appearing on his face. An 85% soul compatibility meant he was in the latter phase of transformation, getting very close to stepping into the 6th rank. Just as Lin Yuan was planning to continue his cultivation to perfect the martial arts evolution system and increase his soul compatibility. Suddenly, Lin Yuan's expression changed slightly, because, deep in his mind, the grand and imposing door to the myriad realms at the edge had been completely illuminated. Chapter 209 Rejection. Subscribe, please. The moment the outer region of the door to the myriad realms lit up, Lin Yuan knew. Is it possible to travel now? Lin Yuan's mind went to the depths of his consciousness, gazing at that majestic and grand door to the myriad realms. Just now. Lin Yuan slightly furrowed his brows. He was at a critical period, transitioning from the 5th rank to the 6th rank. The soul compatibility had already reached 85%, very close to perfection. Increasing the soul compatibility required Lin Yuan to devote all his energy to enlightenment and the perfecting of the martial path evolutionary path. If he were to travel now, with his consciousness descending into other worlds, it would be equivalent to halting the process of soul evolution. After the trip, when Lin Yuan stepped into the 6th rank in a foreign world and returned to the main world, he would still need to spend time and energy to complete the last part of his soul compatibility. What Lin Yuan truly worried about wasn't the above. Rather, abruptly ceasing the soul evolution could lead to some undesirable outcomes, such as soul compatibility not progressing but regressing, or the speed of compatibility suddenly slowing down, etc. In the long years of human civilization in the universe, some 5th-rank evolvers, while matching their souls with their evolution paths, experienced various interruptions due to accidents. When they restarted the evolution and compatibility, they found that the speed and efficiency of soul compatibility were significantly affected. Forget it. I will travel after completing the soul transformation into the 6th rank. Lin Yuan's expression revealed a brief contemplation, and finally, he made up his mind. Delaying the travel wouldn't cause any loss to Lin Yuan. The door to the myriad realms would still continue to accumulate energy. Just like a 10-liter cup constantly dripping water into it, the moment the water in the cup reached 1 liter, Lin Yuan could travel. The instant he traveled, it would consume that 1 liter of water. But if he chose not to travel, that 1 liter of water wouldn't disappear. It would still remain in the cup, not affecting the subsequent increase of water in the cup. Theoretically, Lin Yuan could wait for years and travel continuously, or try other functions of the door to the myriad realms like what uses would there be after lighting up the core region. Outside Kanglin Star, a spaceship slowly stopped, undergoing star platform security inspection. Boss, we've arrived at Kanglin Star. We've reached our destination. Inside the ship, a green-haired young man excitedly said, "It's my first time leaving my home planet. Kanglin Star must have many fun places, right? Fun?" A green-haired, middle-aged man opened his eyes and sighed. "You'll see how painful it is to be stationed on such a middle-grade life planet for a long time." The green-haired, middle-aged man glanced at the green-haired young man. "Ah, painful?" The green-haired young man blinked in surprise. "Could it be something good?" The green-haired, middle-aged man scoffed. "The various entertainment activities, welfare benefits, and the supply of cosmic energy on a middle-grade life planet. Can they compare to those on a higher-grade life planet? This time, if it wasn't for the young lattice orders to establish a trade outpost on Kanglin Star, I wouldn't have wanted to come here." The green-haired, middle-aged man sighed again. Yes, it said that a genius evolver from Kanglin Star, Lin Yuan, rejected Heiyuao's recruitment, causing the whole Kanglin Star to be targeted and suppressed. Fortunately, another genius evolver from Kanglin Star, Fang Qing, joined the Red Kuan lineage. Fang Qing and Lin Yuan have a deep relationship, so Fang Qing, for Lin Yuan's sake, sought the help of the young lady and other Red Kuan lineage evolvers, trying to rebuild the trade channels. The green-haired youth obviously did his homework before coming. It's his first time leaving his homeland planet. Naturally, he must prepare thoroughly. Fang Qing is really considerate. The green-haired young man said somewhat enviously. Who wouldn't hope to have such a friend who would stand up for them when they are being oppressed and bullied? Indeed, Fang Qing is loyal, but that Lin Yuan, he simply doesn't recognize favors. The green-haired middle-aged man shook his head. With Mr. Ao's status personally recruiting, showing respect and humility, yet Lin Yuan even dared to refuse, recklessly implicating the entire Kanglin Star. Such a person is extremely selfish in nature. Without Fang Qing's help, his future would definitely be miserable. The green-haired, middle-aged man slowly said. His view was also the view of most people, especially those assigned to establish the trade station, who harbored some resentment towards Lin Yuan. That is true. The green-haired youth nodded slightly. He had been taught by his family from a young age to sacrifice everything for the family when necessary. If he was in Lin Yuan's position, he would never make such self-centered decisions. Actually, there's no need to wait for later. As Fang Qing just joined the Red Kuan lineage, remembering his friendship with Lin Yuan, but as time passes, with the help of the Red Kuan lineage, Fang Qing will soar, stepping into 5th rank, stepping into 6th rank. But Lin Yuan, even though he is a once-in-decades evolution genius from Kanglin's star, will most likely stop at the 5th rank. As the gap in strength between the two grows larger, can their friendship still be maintained? How could a dragon ever be friends with an ant? The green-haired, middle-aged man shared his thoughts. In hundreds, thousands of years, Fang Qing's fondness for Lin Yuan will naturally fade. The green-haired, middle-aged man said calmly. Indeed, peers of the same strength level can't become friends. The green-haired young man nodded in agreement. Central Continent Manor, main building. I must achieve perfection in soul compatibility transformation as soon as possible. Since the door to the myriad realms could enable travel at any time, Lin Yuan thought about hastening the speed of his soul compatibility. Perhaps I could spar with other strong evolvers. Chapter 210 Rejected. Please subscribe _2. Lin Yuan appeared pensive. Sparring with evolvers of different evolution paths had significantly increased the efficiency of Lin Yuan's enlightenment, especially in terms of perfecting martial Tao, since Lin Yuan intended to transcend the limitations of Taiyin, accommodating all the Daos in the world, then exchanging blows with numerous evolvers, sensing their Daos and paths, evidently had a certain progressive effect. Might as well, since I'm free anyway. Lin Yuan connected his consciousness to the virtual world and entered the arena area. The virtual world contained many areas: living areas, trading areas, central plaza areas, and the arena area. The arena area was specially designed for evolvers to spar with each other. Every session of the Cosmic Human Alliance's arena competition was held in the arena area. Of course, only evolvers under 100 years old could participate in the arena competition. As for those over 100, those truly powerful evolvers, 5th rank, 6th rank, if they wished to spar, they would choose the arena area. Registering. Strength. 5th rank. 12 segments. Beginning Soul Fusion Metamorphosis. Identity hidden. Lin Yuan entered the arena area, disguised as a wandering evolver traveling through the universe, and began selecting opponents. This person has been undergoing soul fusion metamorphosis for over 200 years, almost reaching 90% fusion, applying for a challenge. And this person, from the Wanyang lineage, a core holy son, no less significant than a Red Kuan lineage peak master, applying. Unique physique, noble bloodline, about to step into 6th rank? Apply for a challenge quickly, otherwise, once he reaches 6th rank, I won't be able to apply. Lin Yuan spent half a day selecting over 100 opponents. These 100+ opponents were carefully chosen by Lin Yuan, and even if their strength didn't match his, the difference wasn't much. They could definitely put pressure on Lin Yuan. And the evolution paths of these people were extremely rare and special, which had a good stimulating effect on Lin Yuan. After applying for challenges one by one, Lin Yuan began to wait. At this moment, the voice of the smart assistant rang. Master, Governor Song Wuyong would like to see you. Virtual world, personal space. Lin Yuan's figure appeared. Before long, Song Wuyong also materialized in front of him. We've finally gotten over this crisis without any danger. A trace of relief appeared on Song Wuyang's face. As a planetary governor, if Kanglin's star experienced economic regression or other negative impacts during his tenure, it would cause a disastrous blow to his political achievements. Fortunately, everything had ended. Under Fang Qing's leadership, numerous powers began to retrade with Kanglin's star, and even through these connections, Kanglin's star unexpectedly embarked on a development beyond what was anticipated. It was a blessing in disguise. If it hadn't been for Lord Fang Qing this time, we really would have been in trouble, Governor Song Wuyong said. Indeed, Lin Yuan nodded. In fact, Lin Yuan didn't feel much of it himself. Even if the outside criticism was loud, he could ignore it all. But his parents and sister had to endure some cyber violence. So Fang Qing's willingness to stand up, even though he didn't bring substantial help to Lin Yuan, at least eased the psychological pressure on the family. For this, Lin Yuan was quite grateful. Lord Fang Qing stepping in was entirely out of the friendship with you, Mr. Lin. I hope you'll interact more in the future, Governor Song Wuyong suggested with an implication. The implication was that he hoped Lin Yuan would get closer to Fang Qing, because there was no guarantee that Fang Qing would be willing to step forth next time. Lin Yuan's expression remained calm. He knew that Song Liang's words had no malice. They were entirely from his own perspective. Having finally held onto a powerful benefactor, it was natural to hold on tightly, especially members of the Red Kuan lineage like Fang Qing, who might become significant figures of the entire star domain in the future. Song Liang chatted with Lin Yuan for a while and then got up to leave. Now that Kanglan Star's trade routes had just been rebuilt, too many issues required his attention as the governor. Disconnecting his consciousness from the virtual world, Lin Yuan walked out of the main building to the grass field outside. Brother, Sister Lin Yi, standing on a shield-shaped weapon and using her thought power to control it, flew over. That Huao really is petty, pressuring Kanglan Star just because you didn't accept his offer. Well, isn't he embarrassed now? Lin Yi couldn't help but comment. But it's good, brother's friend is capable. Many of my girlfriends are envious of brother for having made such a great friend. Lin Yi continued. Is that so? Lin Yuan's expression remained calm. In this period, along with the quelling of public opinion, Lin Yi had also gotten some of her resentment out. Virtual world. Fang Qing and Lin Yuan sat facing each other. There isn't much left to worry about, Fang Qing said. Huao doesn't seem to be causing any trouble right now. They probably don't dare to come up with any ideas. Having said this, Fang Qing stared at Lin Yuan and continued, Big brother Lin, are you interested in joining the Red Kuan lineage? I will have a referral spot available soon, which I can give to you. The channels for joining the Red Kuan lineage weren't limited to the challenges of the 7-star cave. There were many official means of entry. Referral was one of the simplest. Every 100 years, every official member of the Red Kuan lineage gets one chance to refer. That is to recommend other evolvers to join the Red Kuan lineage. Of course, evolvers who join the Red Kuan lineage via referral are only the lowest tier peripheral members. They must pass numerous challenges to continue staying with the Red Kuan lineage. Naturally, even with a referral, for most evolvers, it's an opportunity that's hard to come by. After all, this is the Red Kuan lineage, the supreme ruler of the Chikuan star domain. Even just staying inside for a few years is a brag-worthy qualification. Referral? Lin Yuan fell into thought. As the peak master of Chicken's rigorous 13 peaks, did he even need a referral? Big brother Lin, what do you think? Although Fang Qing did not know the source of Lin Yuan's confidence to reject the recruitment offer from Huao, due to their relationship, Fang Qing still wanted to give Lin Yuan a helping hand. With Big Brother Lin's direction, after joining the Red Kuan lineage, although only as a peripheral member, with my support and your talent, becoming an official member later on won't be difficult, said Fang Qing. Fang Qing considered Lin Yuan's situation thoroughly. Let's talk about it another time, Lin Yuan said with a smile. Okay. Fang Qing nodded. Young master, the 222 evolvers you intended to recruit have all agreed and signed the contract, said the old man in a black suit, Bei Zhao, respectfully addressing Huao, who sat upon the throne. Then proceed with the next step in the plan, to provide specialized training for these 222 evolvers, so that their strength increases by at least 40% before the next arena competition starts, said Huao. Yes, Bei Zhao responded and then disappeared on the spot. 222 evolvers. Huao fell silent. There should have been 223 evolvers. It was just that Lin Yuan had rejected the recruitment, and Huao originally planned to use cutting off trade to force the other party to bow down. But then Fang Qing popped up unexpectedly. Just you wait, as long as I can pass the family's test and return to take my place as the family head, you will all have to pay the price, Huao muttered to himself. On Kanglan Star's central mainland, in a manor, the training ground beneath the main building, Lin Yuan's consciousness connected to the virtual world, entering the arena area. Let's see if anyone has approved the applications. A few hours ago, Lin Yuan had selected a large number of evolvers with similar strength levels, aiming to challenge them to speed up the soul bonding transformation. Upon opening the application list, Lin Yuan's brow suddenly furrowed. because he found that all of his applications had been rejected. Rejected, 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 still rejected. Out of over 100 applications, more than 70 had been rejected. The remaining 30 or 40, while not rejected, were not approved either, which was almost as bad as being rejected. They all rejected me? Lin Yuan blinked. Was this the result of his first attempt to issue challenges? Chapter 211, The Tremor of the Chikuin Star Domain. Please subscribe. Refuse me? Why would he refuse me? Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and roughly speculated the reason. The evolvers he had selected, without exception, were either extremely famous, had a profound background, or possessed talent that was unmatched in a star domain. Such evolvers were essentially celebrity evolvers. Who knows how many people were paying attention to them? If they accepted just any evolver's challenge, they might as well stop cultivating and just keep accepting challenges from start to finish. Moreover, casually accepting challenges from unknown evolvers winning was taken for granted. But if by some chance they lost, it would be very embarrassing. Therefore, unless it was an evolver of the same level and status, those celebrity evolvers would not easily accept challenges. If that's the case, Lin Yuan's thoughts surged. Then I will apply for a challenge with my true identity. The so-called true identity obviously was not the Lin Yuan persona, but rather the identity of the peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage. In terms of the level of attention, the mysterious peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage. It was estimated that there was not an evolver who would not be curious. And with the high status of the peak master of the 13th peak, there were probably not many evolvers who would refuse a challenge issued by him. Even if they lost, there was a reason for it. After all, it was the peak master of the 13th peak. Isn't it normal if I lost? If they could win, then they would have beaten the peak master of the 13th peak. With that thought, Lin Yuan immediately switched identities. The virtual world of the Red Kuan lineage. The 13th main peak. Lin Yuan's figure appeared in the Grand Hall at the peak summit. Since he had yet to step into the 6th rank, Lin Yuan did not recruit disciples or servants for the main peak, so the Grand Hall appeared empty and deserted. As long as I don't reveal Lin Yuan's identity, using the identity of the 13th peak's peak master to do some things would have no impact. Lin Yuan mulled over this repeatedly. Then he started to enter the arena area and select an opponent to apply for a challenge. The arena area. One of the arenas. A dark-skinned man appeared. I didn't expect the formidable peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage to actually choose to challenge me? The dark-skinned man felt somewhat flattered. He looked at a figure appearing in the distance and said with a slightly respectful posture. As a being who was on the cusp of stepping into the 6th rank with a 90% soul transformation, the dark-skinned man had long stopped accepting any challenges, as his most important task was to completely focus on pushing his soul compatibility to perfection. Then he could safely step into the 6th rank. The dark-skinned man was indeed doing just that. Until he received a challenge application from the peak master of the 13th peak of the Red Kuan lineage. My God, this was the peak master of the 13th peak, a high-ranking figure in a future star domain. Even if the dark-skinned man stepped into the 6th rank, his status would still be far inferior to that of the peak master of the 13th peak. Therefore, upon receiving the challenge application, the dark-skinned man did not hesitate to choose to accept. It was, after all, just a challenge and wouldn't take too much time. To witness the legendary and mysterious peak master of the 13th peak, it was worth it regardless of winning or losing. Let's begin. Lin Yuan looked at the dark-skinned man. All right. After the dark-skinned man spoke, his figure disappeared from the spot. Peak master of the 13th peak. The evolution path I cultivate is known as the shadow evolution path, which allows me to hide in any. The dark-skinned man hadn't finished speaking when Lin Yuan took a step forward, moved to a spot under the shade of a tree, and reached out a hand. A nearly invisible shadow was caught. Then the shadow quickly solidified and took the form of the dark-skinned man. How is this possible? The dark-skinned man's eyes widened in disbelief. His method of hiding was extremely secretive, and even 6th rank evolvers might overlook it if they were not paying attention. The dark-skinned man had evaded countless death traps with his hiding techniques. But in front of the peak master of the 13th peak, it was seen through at a glance. "Not bad," Lin Yuan commented. Then he crushed the dark-skinned man's neck. "Your understanding is against heaven. Watching the shadow-hiding method, your comprehension of the shadow laws deepens. Your understanding is against heaven. Watching the shadow-hiding method, your comprehension of the shadow laws deepens. Your understanding is against heaven. Watching the shadow-hiding method, your comprehension of the shadow laws deepens." Lin Yuan closed his eyes slightly, and under his against heaven's understanding, the numerous techniques of the dark-skinned man were transformed into gains, integrating into the martial arts evolution system. Lin Yuan faintly felt that the transformation speed of his soul compatibility had increased ever so slightly. Although it was not significant, it was better than usual enlightenment by that bit. This was not to say that enlightenment was inefficient, but occasionally changing the style of cultivation could lead to unexpected results. And under against heaven's understanding, whether Lin Yuan sat down to ponder or fought to learn, both were considered a form of enlightenment. Next, Lin Yuan continuously challenged one evolver after another. These evolvers were not only limited to the Chiquan star domain or other nearby star domains, but also included all the renowned 5th-rank ultimate evolvers within the entire human civilization territory. Some evolvers had a terrifying fleshly body, merely relying on their robust qi and blood to form a huge domain. Lin Yuan also had to rely on his own explosion of power to briefly hold back the qi and blood domain and then finish the opponent with a single finger. There were also evolvers who were masters of speed, appearing anywhere in the arena at a moment's thought, able to attack from any corner. The faster they moved, the stronger the attack. Lin Yuan really exerted some effort before he managed to stomp his opponent to death. As Lin Yuan battled and exchanged blows with different evolvers, he learned more and more. In just half a month's time, he gained what would amount to 2 months of meditative cultivation. And as Lin Yuan kept on challenging, more and more evolvers, especially those from the Chiquan star domain, began to take notice of Lin Yuan. You're tuning in to the Legend of the Vagabond YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.